All right, we are officially live. So give the folks time to come on in. Well, he's stuffing his face now, but I think his mic sounded fine. You know, his microphone sounded fine. You know, when he just spoke. So
yeah, he was. You can hear him chewing good.
Yeah. So what up, Rob? Half stunt, half man. That's a funny name. B Briscoe. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Kurt later on in the show. Yeah, Spike is out this week. Yeah, he's
He being a fan tonight.
Yeah. All there's something to do with strawberries, so yeah. But you know, I can put that man business in the street like that. All right. All right, man. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth P. Inch. Joining me on the show, we have Shelton, Nick, and FIFO. What up?
What's happening?
What did it do? What's going on?
Q will be joining us. Spike is out tonight.
Yeah,
for those of you
fielding punts.
For those of you that are listening to the show, also the feed is updated, by the way, and you know, I think we on Google Podcasts too, or YouTube Music, YouTube Podcast, whatever it's called, and we're back on Twitter. Actually, we're back streaming live on Twitter again after Elon made us pay for it. But he snatched it away, bro. But yeah, we are back now live on Twitter. So we thanks to everybody watching us on Twitter as well. Right now, I'm still refusing it to call it that. No, we're not. No, we're not on Blue Sky. But yeah. Anyway. We have a pretty packed show tonight. We're going to talk about the Bills. We obviously, of course, going to open with college football playoffs and Bryce Young, which, that being said, I will kick this off with a super chat from Rob Costa. Top of the evening, everyone. Bryce Young praise in the title. I know damn well Ken didn't name this episode. Also, Shelton, is it true your Spotify rap is all Jalen Hurts searches or seaches?
He's trying to say. He's probably trying to say speeches, but Rob's in Canada. They don't spell well there.
Rob, I actually did name the title. You know, hey man, you know, I love to give. I can give love too. But yeah, that was me, and I wanted to, you know, I've talked poorly about him. We're gonna get to Bryce Young in a sec, but yeah, I did name that the title. So anyway, yeah, let's get into it, man. Boy, where do we begin? I wish Spike was here, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I definitely wanted to talk to him about something, but you know, he won't escape. He'll be back next week, which we'll give you guys our holiday schedule next week, since New Year's and Christmas Eve all fall on Tuesdays. So we'll have to change up the schedule. Won't be taking like the long Christmas break. I mean, we still have stuff to cover. There's a lot going on. So we'll still be active here and there. But we'll give you guys a full breakdown when we come back next Tuesday. Anyway, the committee has spoken. We officially have our 12 teams for the first ever expanded college football playoff format. The question everybody asks every year, and one that has to be discussed because, you know, people have opinions, but did they get this right? Did they get this right? And then there's another question about how about Oregon as well, which we'll get into. But overall, what are you guys' thoughts on the college football playoffs?
I'm excited. I'm excited for the first year. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. There's a couple games in here that excite me. That I'm interested to see how these matchups go. And, playing another round is something that's different for all these guys. They're used to, some of them are used to seeing a bowl game, but to go on and have to play a different round and, work your way through the tournament is exciting finally. It's like, same excitement I get for March Madness I have for this. And the question, did they get it right? As right as they could. Yeah, you got some misses in there, but just like anything else, this is all there's always going to be some misses. We're going to miss something all the time. There's no way to get every team that we want to get in unless you expand the field. I did like that idea that somebody put out about having like an NIT and having, some of those other teams play in another tournament style format. But I'm excited to see this, and I'm excited to see some of the matchups. So yeah, I think they got it good enough for me. My favorite is Clemson, Texas. I can't wait to see that game.
Just a quick update on what happened last weekend. We're going to do a show, but again, I was out against my will. But I had a good time. Nevertheless, Texas lost to Georgia in a thriller in OT. They lost to Gunnar Stockton, a backup after Carson Beck got hurt. Honestly, I couldn't tell the difference if you ask me, Shelton. Oregon was in a shootout with Penn State. They dominated early. Penn State made as much of a fight of it as they could. They kept it within 15, 14 points throughout the game. And another pretty thrilling game was Clemson SMU. And I think that game is how SMU was able to get in with the fight that they showed to come back to tie that game after they were thoroughly dominated by Clemson early on. Probably some nerves and stuff like that. But once they settled in, them boys were rocking and rolling. And a kickoff return and a 56-yard field goal of all things saved Dabo. And there was a blowout game, Arizona State versus Iowa State. But that wasn't much of anything. So that's how we got here. So Clemson beat SMU to take the title, and then it was a matter of waiting to see where SMU fall if they get in, or if they don't. SMU's fight left Bama out, thank God, and also Miami wasn't able to get it, but they fumbled their own bad. That's their fault. So, Nick, now that I went through all of that, what do you think about where we are?
It's a disgrace. It's a mockery. Bama should be in this playoffs. Who gives a fuck about SMU? Shelton, what was their best win all season, bro? Tell me what their best win was, bro. Because it don't compare. It don't compare nothing to Bama. Regardless of what you about to pull out of your ass to give me an answer, it ain't gonna compare nothing, bro. It's a disgrace, bro. We all know this. Like I forgot who mentioned it. This shit ain't never fair. So I don't know why we always try to act like no matter how many teams you have, you can make this a 20. You can make it a top 25 college football playoff. Somebody gonna be bitching about something. But let's keep it a bean. Bama should be in it, bro. Yes, did they lose to Vanderbilt? Yes, did they lose to Oklahoma? Yes, did they lose to Tennessee? Those are all true. Those are all facts. You can look at the record. However, their wins are great wins. They faced ranked teams in the SEC. And as much as people are talking about those losses, I know the Oklahoma loss is the ugliest one. Vanderbilt, you can kind of get away with if that was the only bad loss. Everybody kind of had like a bad loss or close to a bad loss this college football season. But I'm sorry, bro. I'm looking at SMU, bro. And y'all lose to Clemson when y'all was the favorite, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm sorry. Y'all can like us, like Shelton. I don't even know why you said SMU Texas. You already know what's going to happen in that game. So let's not even
No. Clemson, Texas. It's Clemson, Texas.
Oh, Clemson, Texas. I mean, SMU plays. Who do they? These motherfuckers play
Penn State. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like,
hey, they might shock you, Nick.
They ain't shocking
I hope they
shit.
do, man.
They ain't shocking shit. They like that's the thing. Is like we come to see good teams play against good teams. We don't come to see Cinderella stories. Ain't no such thing as Cinderella. When I was vying for Cincinnati to be in the top 4 of the college football playoffs and all that shit, back when it was just 4 teams, niggas was like, "Who the fuck is Cincinnati? Get these motherfuckers out of here." And now I see why. It's like, it just don't make no sense. Like I'm sorry, bro. Like SMU should not be in. Like,
I disagree, bro.
I'm not, and you could even make a case probably for Miami, but they lost 2 out of the last 3, and they lost to Syracuse, so that's just ugly. But they lost to Syracuse by being up 21 points. That was the issue.
Yeah, that was the issue.
But my thing is like, bro, when you're talking about the strength of schedule, I thought that was the main thing that was like big in what the committee was deciding over. But I'm sorry, bro, SMU should not be in this motherfucker. Yeah, I'll give you Clemson since they won, but even then, people are questioning like, why do people get automatic bids in just for winning the championship game? Like,
well, I mean, you do it in basketball, so that's I don't have a problem with automatic bids in. It's just that at large, that's where you're gonna come into the issues. And I get what you're saying, because you're right. The biggest win that they had was against a Pitt team that was ranked, I think, 16th or 18th. So you look at a team like Bama that beat Georgia, and it ended up being a close game, but they were beating them handily at that. They would have made some noise in this. I believe Alabama would have made some noise, and it would have been nice to see them. It would have been nice to see Colorado and Miami.
Oh man, y'all talking about Colorado?
No,
Get Colorado.
I ain't going that far.
You went it too far, bro.
I ain't going that far.
They blew their chances too.
The best player in the country. I want to see him play.
Well, you will, just not in the college playoffs. You're gonna see other guys. You're gonna see 2 other Heisman guys, and you know that in Ashton, Boise State, they made it. The Gabriel kid, he's in, and who's the third guy?
Oh, it's Genty, Hunter, Gabriel, and Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. You're only gonna see 2 because Cam messed up.
It's gonna be nice.
I don't know why they even put Cam's name in there.
It's gonna be nice to see Genty in there with playing against some of those bigger schools and see if he can continue what he's been doing against some of these top schools. I want to see if they're gonna stop the run.
Yeah, Nick, I'm a Bama hater, so I love the decision. I was rooting for Clemson that night. Among the Bama family members, silently, and I was happy and pleased with the results. I still wondered though, since this committee tend to favor the SEC, would they put Bama in because of the wins that they had? But those losses, man, I feel you on the big wins they had, bro. But they blew their chances to get to the college playoffs with those 3 losses that they had, and 2 to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. That's just inexcusable. So, I feel like give SMU a shot. I think we'll learn from this. And they may surprise you, Nick. They may go out there and beat Penn State.
They ain't doing shit, bro.
They looked a lot better than I thought.
That's because they was playing Clemson. Bro, I'm sorry, bro. It's just, again, I see y'all in the chat talking about this an overhead take, is a gatekeeper take. Yes. They should be. We act like gatekeepers are the white man is the reason why gatekeepers is a bad word, but there should be gatekeepers. There should be things that tell us this is good and this is bad.
I agree with
that.
This
is better than this is than the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, being fair is judging these teams based off their season and their records. As far as, yes, the records of not just wins and losses, but who did you beat, bro? No, if you gave SMU that same schedule, are they going to the ACC championship game? No. You don't even do the.
Hold on, let me look at it. I gotta look. I think they could, Nick.
If you give Bama SMU schedule, are they not going to the championship game?
I can't say that because they lost to 2 teams. That sucked.
I get. I'm willing. I look. As a Roll Tide, alumni. You know what I'm saying. I'm completely biased. However, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it because we're gonna watch these games and we're gonna see how shitty SMU really is, and they wasted a fucking spot that we could have got a really good matchup between Bama and Penn State. Anybody, if you tell me what game would you rather see, Bama Penn State or SMU Penn State?
You think Bama would beat Penn State?
Yes.
No. I would have been with you, Nick, as far as getting them in there if it had been even close in the Oklahoma game. But to get beat 24-3, the way they got beat, that discouraged me all the way. There's no way I can say I'm gonna put them in there the way they looked in that Oklahoma game. I'm sorry, and I love Miro.
Bama didn't do themselves no favors. I agree with y'all. Like they seem like they played to the level of their competition this season. However, they got some really good wins though. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm emphasizing on the wins because that's the only leg I got to stand on with this shit. But they got some really good wins that are impressive where it's like, okay, you can't deny that. You can't deny that they're not talented. You can't deny that they don't belong with the big boys. SMU, you could the only thing you're going to is the record. And they didn't even win their fucking conference.
Well, you got a good leg on one, and you got gout on the other one, Nick. And that's the problem.
We still moving forward regardless. We ain't running. We hopping. I was trying to get a,
like the penguin.
Like the penguin. I got a cobble pot leg to stand on. Y'all come on, bro.
Well, speaking of fairness, and I didn't even notice this until I was just catching up on the news and reading articles on it the other day. They did Oregon dirty. Let's go through some. We're going to go through some of the matchups, and then we're going to get to the question. But because I want to get you guys just thoughts on who is going to win the games next week. So you got Clemson, Texas. Who do you guys think will come out on top in that one?
Wait, say it again.
Who winner of Clemson, Texas? Who you got?
Texas. Easy. I don't even know why you asked that question.
Ooh, you think it's going to be easy?
Yes. As long as they start Manning, it should be easy. They need to get. Let's cut this before we're gonna get to the same shit. I'm probably have the same speech when we get to the Cousins talk. Let's cut the shit. Let's just cut the shit and let's go with the guy that we know is gonna be the guy. Like I hate when we try to drag out this bullshit where we're like, oh, give it like you said with SMU, can give him a chance. You'll know. Fuck all that. We know. We've seen enough. He like yours was literally lost them that game. He literally lost them that game. We saw what Manny could do, and yours lost them that game. Like they need to just like next season he's going to be starting anyway. You might as well let him start now because yours ain't shit. Now if they start yours, it's a toss up if they start yours. But they probably gonna give it. They probably gonna give it to him because he's the elder in the room and whatever. But
I think they'll play both at some point. Especially if Uhr struggle. But yeah, I'll go Texas on that one. Tennessee, Ohio State.
This. The sad thing about Ohio State is that everything is good, but the quarterback. That defense is probably the best defense in the country. You give him a decent quarterback, which I obviously, as I'm saying this, I'm declaring Will Howard is not a decent quarterback like I thought he was. At least he's not even a Brock Purdy of the college football. I don't know what he is, but I have to go Tennessee because I just don't trust. I don't trust him at the quarterback position. He that Michigan game was the nail in the coffin for me on who he is.
I'm with you, man. Will Howard is not it, and this is a big game. He hasn't played good in big games all year, honestly, because he that's the second game he just gave away.
Exactly. He almost gave away that Penn State game too. If you're thinking about if we really go back and watch those games, watch the reason why I'm saying that because that Michigan game, those are red zone interceptions he was throwing,
And then there was the time he scrambled and slid.
Like a goofball. That's a stick out to me, kid. When you said his against big competition, he got some ugly moments. against good competition.
I'm gonna say Ohio State, but I think it's a toss up. So, you obviously going with Penn State against SMU.
Yes,
I will as well. And what about Notre Dame, Indiana?
I'm gonna go with the Marcus Freeman. You know what I'm saying? He's the coach at Cincinnati, so I'm gonna go with him. Even though I think Indiana's frauds too. That was the second team I was gonna say get them the fuck out of here, because who the fuck have they played? They lost to Ohio State. So and that was their one big kind of like matchup on their schedule, at least from what I see of the season. But I'm going with Notre Dame, even though they keep on talking about Indiana got a good like high-powered offense, but I'm going with Marcus Freeman and his squad.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame going to embarrass them boys. I didn't like what I saw when they played against Ohio State, and I think Notre Dame probably has closer players to that roster than Indiana's roster. So when all of those games are done, that will leave Oregon in a situation where they, as the number one seed, will have to basically face Ohio State or Tennessee just to advance to the semifinals. So they are saying that they have a very tough schedule and they were treated unfairly as the number one seed, and they have more of a gauntlet than some of these other teams that are on here. What are your thoughts on that, Nick?
My thing is, like, as the number, like in any other type of format like this, the number one seed usually gets like obviously they got the bye, but you usually face like the weakest team next round because you did your hard work in the regular season. The fact that they got to face either Ohio State or Tennessee, and then that's their next step going in towards tougher competition. It's like, what the fuck? Like Oregon, we already saw that Oregon game, even though we talked about the Will Howard fuck up, that still was a close ass game. And that was Ohio State on the road too. So if you put them in a neutral site, Ohio State fans travel well. I think so do Oregon, but Ohio State fans definitely travel well. So it may be even more of a home game. They just didn't get any kind of easy type of weight. Like if you look at even the other part of the bracket, I was trying to see that there, like I think even like you look at the Texas Clemson winner gets to face fucking Arizona State.
Yeah.
What? Like, are you kidding me? The winner of SMU Penn State faces Boise State. What? You stop that run game. Boise State ain't shit. Like to me, it was just like the format of it fucked over Oregon. But to me, also, it is what it is. I mean, if y'all telling me to suck it up with Alabama not getting in, then Oregon has to suck it up and just say, like, look, if we the number one team in the country, let's prove it. We got to go. We're going to have to face somebody, so let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I think, they when you look at it that way and look at who some of these other teams get to face on the road to, like, the semifinals, yeah, it looks a bit unfair as a number one seed. You're supposed to face weaker competition. I think that's something they'll address next year. But if they the top dog, man, they the top dog. It don't matter who you put in front of them. And Oregon, when I was watching them against Penn State,
they was cooking.
They looked impressive.
Hey, whoever number 18 was a fucking but that's a grown ass man.
Telling you, bro.
Boys, I ain't never seen a nigga hurl over somebody for a tutty. Like, in college, it's been a minute. Like that was they look like they made Penn State look like they don't even belong. But we'll see. I mean, usually you don't know how much rest versus being on momentum.
Rest
Versus rust going into this stuff because they're gonna have a week off. But like someone said in the chat, bro, if you that dude, you're gonna face whoever you got to and you're gonna get through it.
Members chat while we still here on college. Thoughts on Bill Belichick to North Carolina, possibly. They said he got a 400-page game plan ready to go. Seems like the NFL is telling the old man his time is up.
It sounds like he asking for too much as an old man. That's why he got to go to college. That's the same reason why. Go ahead.
Searching for his new girlfriend.
I look at it as like just same way. I think Dion probably doesn't want to go to the NFL anytime soon. It's like, bro, you can control everything. And that's what Bill Belichick wants. I don't think nobody in the NFL wants to give him that power. The owners are the owners.
Nah, because we saw what it looked like last time. You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like, he got to regain this. Even though it's crazy to say a man who won 6 Super Bowls has to regain the trust of an NFL franchise.
Nick, you say it all the time. Is what you did for me lately. And what he did for them lately was not set up the New England Patriots to be successful beyond him.
Do you think that going to college, adjusting to how the youth are now, could help him with the NFL?
Yeah,
and he's gonna be like 80 years old when his next contract is up.
Yeah,
I see what Ken is saying though is right though, because at that, you know, he has a lot more control. So, and he'll be dealing with younger guys, you know, a couple of years. If he's there 2-3 years, 74, he is gonna be old. You're right, Q. But it ain't gonna be to the point where you can't coach anymore. We've seen
nigga.
A few of them do it.
Man, this seemed like he willing to die in North Carolina, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, this is like a retirement move to me. Like, yo, you know what I mean?
Like you said, though, Q, he got this youth movement. He got that girl.
Hey man,
he'll feel like 25 right now.
ain't that many blue pills that can keep me? You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, man.
Hey, North Carolina, isn't that their colors?
That little honey pack ain't gonna work down there, man. I don't know about that.
Hey, look, I don't think this is a bad move because we know the type of personnel control he wants, and the only place he's gonna get that is gonna be in college. And being able to go into a kid's living room and recruit him, that kid is gonna know. And if he don't know, his uncle or his dad or somebody in the household is gonna be like, "Hey, bro, it's one of the best coaches to ever do it." So he'll be able to recruit relatively easy. He'll be able to turn around, you know, a program relatively quickly. So I don't think it's a bad move. We seen what he looks like in the NFL. The game looks like it passed him by. He needs to get young again. You know what I'm saying? Understand what these news. Not in the bedroom, Ken.
Nah, he getting real.
We're not talking the bedroom. We talk about the football field. We're talking about the football field. He needs to get more in line with where the game is now offensively. I think that obviously his ideology, his foundation, he could definitely bestow that upon youngins at the college level. So I don't think it's a bad move. I just don't know, or, you know, to what Nick was saying, I don't know if I trust him at the NFL ranks. We seen what he looked like.
You know what I think this really is? I think this is two things here working. The reason why he's not getting the deal he wants in the NFL, I don't even think it has necessarily much to do with how New England's tenure ended for him. I think it has to do with how people view the balance of power with Brady and him, and how much responsibility was on Brady to win those championships and versus Belichick. I think a lot of people, after Brady went to Tampa Bay, I think that a lot of people around the NFL said, that was a lot more of Brady than we understood. And I think that doesn't really have much to do with, okay, the last 2 seasons in New England was terrible. I think it has a lot to do with, can I go to college and on the ground floor create another QB and show y'all that my mechanics and what I gave Brady made him who he is. This is where I think that the only way he's going to get that control to do all that is at a program like UNC. And I think that he wants to make it, you know, he wants to make a guy and show you that I can bring out Brady's. You know what I mean?
But that's what any coach wants to do. Any coach wants to be able to take a player or their player and, propel them to the mountaintop. I think it's beyond the last 2 years that we saw in New England. It was even the years with Brady. If you have personnel decision-making powers, how come Randy Moss was the only viable outside target that was ever part of that organization? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you didn't get guys like Wes Welker and Deion Branch and guys that were, you know, played above their skill level, because obviously great coaches do that, but you weren't able to select elites anywhere else outside of pass rusher or DB. So that's what I'm talking about. And that's more than 2 years.
I do want to give Belichick a little bit of grace with the skill positions. Not that he deserves a whole bunch, but in the fact that you can't really foresee your tight end becoming a serial killer, and you can't really foresee that Gronk is going to have all those injuries, and that kept those two tight ends were going to run the NFL for a decade. That two tight end system with Hernandez and Gronkowski, it just didn't go the way it was supposed to because of injuries, and it turned into a crash out. Wes Welker, what's his name, Amendola, those were good pickups, but I think that this is all about him trying to show that he knows how to create situational football players, and he's going to create a quarterback that y'all think is going to be the most, lanky or unathletic white dude, and he's going to turn him into a great pocket passer and show y'all that I can get guys on the ground floor and build them up.
It'll be interesting to see if they how many players he get drafted. What you got, Shelton?
I was just going to say it ultimately rests on who he surrounds himself with. I talk about it all the time. The staff that you put in place, they're going to have to be relatable to these young guys because he's not. We know this. We know Bill Belichick is not relatable to today's youth. So he's going to have to put young coaches in place that he trusts and that will implement his system the way he wants it to, that can relay a message to the players and make them feel comfortable. UNC is definitely a good place to go because you're at a major school. It's a basketball school, but it's still they have nice facilities. They got everything in place to be successful. You just got to get in there and run it your way. And the good thing about him is he's following another guy. Brown was old as dirt too. So it's not like, they ain't get, wasn't like he's coming in replacing the young guy, and they didn't have much success. So he gets to go, and like you said, he gets to build a program from the ground up, and he gets to do it his way. And hopefully it works out for him. Hopefully he does have a good staff. We'll see, but hopefully he does have a staff. So,
last one before we move to the pros. Member chat from Rayshawn. Travis Hunter is the Heisman. Genty won't translate. I wish Spike was here because I damn near every week kept telling Spike over and over again, Shedeur is not going to be a Heisman finalist or candidate at all. He refused to listen.
He got some award though. Didn't he get he got some quarterback award that he won though? I forgot what it was.
Yeah, he'll get an award, just not this one.
Yeah.
And what's up with the Genty hate though? Why won't it translate? What about his game doesn't translate?
He's a running back.
He's a running back from Boise State.
Nigga, let him. What? There's been running backs from Boise State that went. Didn't Jay Ajayi go to Boise State?
Who?
Didn't Jay Ajayi go to? He had like 2 or 3 really good seasons.
No. I'm not saying no. Yeah, he's talking just for the Heisman. I'm not saying Genty gonna be nice. I'm saying
but he said won't translate. So
he said won't
translate to the NFL.
No, that ain't what he meant. I thought he
I think that
translate to win the Heisman. That's what I thought.
No. He's talking about for the NFL.
He means in the league.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
That's ridiculous, bro.
I mean,
let Kyle Shanahan get him. Let Kyle Shanahan somebody get him, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. It depends on where he goes. That's all. Like he has to go to a place with a top 5 offensive line.
Wherever Ben Johnson is, wherever Kyle Shanahan is, wherever, he'll watch him eat, bro. He'll eat.
But Hunter definitely should get the Heisman, bro. We've never seen. You got to reward things we have never seen before. You don't reward the same shit we've seen all the time. Even though he did a hell of a job for his college career. It's just that we've seen that side. Like I want to see someone get rewarded for something that's different, and it goes to a defense, or he's technically an offense and defensive player, but I'm looking also as a defensive player. But we haven't seen a defensive player win a Heisman in a minute.
Yeah, and he would be the top draft pick at either position you put him at, DB or.
I ain't going that far. I don't know about wide receiver.
What receiver would you take over him, Luke?
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if he said I'm playing wide receiver today, which one would you take over him in this draft?
Oh yeah, I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's eligible. The dude from Ohio State, and Smith. He ain't coming out of the.
But they still wouldn't take him over Travis. Travis was that first.
I don't know about that one, Shelton.
I think if Nick Harbor came out, I think you would take him just on measurables. 6'5", 220 something, 4.3 40. Like you just.
Yeah.
As much as I love Travis, he's not 6'5", 220.
That Jeremiah Smith is cold.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I know I get it.
Nah, you don't, because you over here talking about Travis Hunter. I seen that motherfucker.
What about the shit? What's his name? McMillan from Arizona.
He's nice. He really nice. He's smooth.
He kind of fell off a little bit.
He did fall off. But
yeah.
That was more on his quarterback though.
It's Arizona, dude.
Yeah, it was his quarterback. He runs some smooth routes. That's
just keep him away from Kyler Murray. He'll be all right.
Right. He'll need another little quarterback.
Hey, Q, man. I was that draft where like of course you had to select them top 5 or like where your position is at. I hated him going to Arizona. I wanted him to go somewhere else so bad, bro.
Who, Kyler or
for Marvin Harrison? Like,
Marvin
bro,
Harrison,
like he is not gonna do shit in Arizona with that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and what's his name? Shedeur won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. So congrats to him. All right, man. Let's go to the pros, where we are going to once again talk about the Lions. BZ 430's Detroit Lions continue to showcase their dominance in the NFC by winning a close divisional game against the Green Bay Packers 34-31. Should Jared Goff be leading the MVP race?
No.
Why not?
It's a little bit strange.
Why should he?
Why should he be? Like,
why shouldn't he be? Like, I'm not gonna answer a question with a question. He's got the best stats at his position. He's on the best.
I thought that's your guy that does.
What's that?
No, he's got the best stats as far as in the MVP conversation at his position. He's on the best team in the NFL, or at least in the NFC currently, and
that's debatable.
Talk to the Philly locker room if that's debatable.
I mean, it's debatable. Still debatable.
Nick, Lamar Jackson has better stats than he do all the way around.
Lamar Jackson ain't gonna be considered for MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Who's the quarterbacks in the MVP conversation? Is just Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and it's really just the 3-man race. To me, it's Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Saquon. But to me, I say he should be leading the MVP race because he's ranking like top 2 if in Denver, all the stats that matter. He's on the best team with the best record. That's usually how these MVPs go. Am I not right, Ken? That's the reason why they gave it to Lamar last year because it helps. It helps out a lot because he was on the best team with the best record and he was playing the best. Well, he beat the better teams.
I don't think he has the brand name, but it helps.
I think that Jared Goff is in that category where people don't think that he's that integral to their success. I don't say I believe that, but I just think that he's needed. Of course, I think he's playing great. I think that people could look at it and be like, we could put a lot of QBs in this team and you could have relatively the same success. I'm not saying that that's true, but I respect the argument because I don't think it's a long list.
You don't think so, Q?
I mean, for me, I respect what Jared Goff is doing, and I think he's playing great, but I think you could put more than 10 QBs on the Lions and you'd win 11, 10 games.
Come on.
I don't think it's 10, Q.
I think it's 10. I think you can put CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You can put the best of the best, right?
No, not the good guys. I'm talking about replacement level guys, like Jared Goff level guys. I don't know if it's that many.
Like Sam Darnold. Can you put Sam Darnold there?
Hell no.
Probably. I mean, if you're telling me beat him. See, the thing is, I mean, I think you could put Sam Darnold on this team and have relatively the same success as long as the defense remains the same. I mean, they lost a lot of guys, so they probably would have shown the cracks in his armor. But guys like him, guys like Baker, I feel like with Ben Johnson, he's that great of an offensive coordinator where he will figure out and identify the strengths of these QBs, Jalen Hurts, anybody, put them in these, and you have relatively the same success.
I think we have to hold on, Shelter, real quick. I hand it right to you. I think we have to take into consideration some of the coaching and processing and learning that Goff experienced under Sean McVay in terms of how to run an offense. Even though I know there was a lot of Gurley there too, but he learned a lot from him. And I think there are some things, some intangibles that that Baker and some of those other guys may not have because they haven't had the level of coaching that he has. I would think that Goff is I understand what you're saying. I just think he's not the elite. He's not the elite below the elite, but he's probably the higher end of above average, to good quarterbacks that are there. And I don't know if you can find many that will be able to execute or run the offense at the level that he is. What were you going to say, Shelton?
I was going to say this weekend will tell a lot towards that tail. If he can go out there and outperform Josh Allen in this game, because this is a huge game because you got them going head to head. Whoever wins that matchup automatically gets that bid to get towards the lead. If you want to be honest, though, should be Saquon, to be honest, at this point, especially if he breaks the record.
If he breaks the record, it has to be Saquon.
But out of all of the people we talked about, though, he's been the most consistent. He don't have a game when we talk about Jared Goff. The biggest mark on him is he threw 5 interceptions in one game. That's hard to ignore. And that one game in a year like this year can knock you out of that race.
But what about
they won the game though, and I
Allen?
think it won't knock them out because they ultimately ended up winning the game.
What about Josh Allen? Josh Allen had a horrible game against the Ravens, and he just lost to a team that no one thought that should even be in a playoff discussion.
Yeah, but he had 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing,
and they still lost.
I understand that, but that's never been done.
We're losing with a good game. I've been watching it all season with Joe Burrow.
But he's not in the MVP race. Why is that? Because he ain't getting dubs. He's not getting dubs that Josh Allen is getting. But Josh Allen got the dubs. So that's my point, is that he has the dubs. So that stuff doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of Jared Goff, it definitely knocks him down. I don't think it's gonna hold him from potentially winning it, but it knocked him down because to me, before that, it was between really him and Lamar. Lamar has had his struggles. He's had his struggles, so he's not clear-cut number one.
But my thing is like, so we're talking about wins and losses as a QB stat. He got the most wins and the less losses, and we're gonna see the matchup between the Bills and the Lions, which I guess will be the MVP race, just like last year when it was Purdy, the 49ers, and the Ravens, and we saw Lamar bust their ass, and that's how he basically sealed the deal for his MVP race. I guess we're gonna see that now. So whoever wins this game is gonna win MVP. But to me, it's like you can't say wins and losses and then say, oh, but Jared Goff is what he's doing ain't really shit because he had that one bad game. Like if we're only talking about,
I'm not touting wins and losses. That's you.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that comes people bring that into account when it talks about MVP.
To me, it depends on what your metric is for MVP, which is why I feel like we have to have the NFL has to come out with a list of criteria that at least you can check off and be like, if a QB is doing something we've never seen before, not QB, if a player is doing something we've never seen before statistically, if a player breaks a long-standing record in rushing, passing touchdowns, all that stuff, right? If something historic is happening, those are the criteria I'm looking for. Just being the best player on the best team, that's super, super, super subjective. And of course, all of the award stuff is subjective and political. But to me, Jared Goff is not doing something historic enough, nor is he doing it in a fashion that is flashy enough for me to be like, So then I default to, with that in mind, Nick, I default to which player means the most to their team. And that just goes off of, well, Saquon Barkley, if he's not on the Eagles, we might lose like 4 or 5 of these games because we need him to get started. Josh Allen, the Bills need him. Otherwise, they might be dead in the water. You know what I'm saying?
But last year with the Eagles, they were 10-1 around this time last year without Saquon. So again, I love Saquon, so I'm not trying to diminish him, but I'm just saying, like, I don't see how he's only elevating them to Super Bowl contention but he's not elevating the team to more success and wins. We've never seen the Detroit Lions look this good.
Well, first off, you're talking about a successful team, right? And we knew that last year it was by committee because I talked about it at least. What was their identity last year? We know what the hell that identity is this year. Is get the ball to Saquon by all means necessary. Most scrimmage yards. You know what I'm saying? Up until this point in NFL history. Come on, bro. Breaking records. We know that this is Saquon centric. We can't say that the Lions are Jared Goff centric. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff is easier to replace and still be successful, right? Yeah. Like Sam Darnold. I think you put Sam Darnold in there. And I'm not saying having more success, but I'm saying I think he can maintain similar success. Right. And there's Baker Mayfield, Q named a couple, but at the end of the day, I 100% agree. I think it is Saquon that is the most valuable to his team. You take him off his squad right now, what the hell are they? Josh Allen as well. Like what are they? Them boys is picking top 3.
But that
especially the Bills.
Jared,
go ahead, go Sheldon.
I was just gonna say Jared Goff is definitely important to his team, and I'm not gonna take away from what he's done. He's had a great season, but you also saw this team score 52 points and he threw for under 100 yards. Mm-hmm. So you have certain games where this team is proving that they're good enough to do it. He just needs to sit back and control it and make sure that he don't do nothing crazy. We've seen him win games where he threw 5 interceptions. Yep. We've seen him win games where he's not passing for that many yards. He's not getting the ball to Amon-Ra all the time. They still win. Now, he does make plays. In some of these games, he's making plays for sure. But I'm saying it's a team effort there more so than an individual MVP effort there.
But I've seen him throw 4 touchdowns too. So it's like, again, however you win is however you win, Sheldon. You bring that up all the time, bro, especially when we talk about the Eagles. You don't like Jalen Hurts got the
MVP. No, we're talking about an individual award. Yeah, individual award.
Yeah, but we're talking about how it translates to the team. So my thing is, when it comes to what Jared Goff is doing with the Detroit Lions, and of course you got to include the coordinators and the head coach. He's doing something unprecedented. The Detroit Lions are Super Bowl contenders, the Super Bowl favorites. We've never heard that, at least not in my lifetime. FIFA, I know damn sure probably not even your lifetime either. Like this is to me, Q, that's unprecedented. Where it's like we're looking at we're seeing him in that coaching staff turn around a whole franchise and making them put them in a stratosphere that we've never seen them before. And on top of that, he has the pedigree because we've seen him take another franchise to the Super Bowl. So it's not like he's just coming out of nowhere and he's just a random.
But how valuable is he though? Like most valuable player. Like you can honestly sit there. Now I'm not saying that Jared Goff does it. Like there isn't an argument that can't be made for him. Of course, you're making it right now. But I'm just saying, like, I don't really truly feel you're being honest and genuine by saying that he leads in those categories of being the most valuable to his team.
Like he's like the Cam Ward in this situation. Like he deserves it. He deserves to be in the conversation. Like he's played phenomenal. Right. But it's like the Detroit Lions making the playoffs is just for their team history, yeah, it is significant, but we've seen teams be 11-1 before with a quarterback that's playing really good. You know what I'm saying? But a team that's overall gelling, has a superstar offensive coordinator, has a really great coach. We've seen that before. That's not an unheralded story. If you told me that Jared Goff was on pace for 62 touchdowns and like, oh shit, dude, all right, no, we got to give it to him. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Something that's completely out of bounds, but it's like, nah, man, there's nothing meteoric about what he's doing. They're just a really good team, and I don't think that you can say with confidence that they're 6 or 7 backup level, mid-level tier QBs that couldn't come in and get you borderline 9, confirmed 10, and possible 11 wins in this same situation, especially if you had Hutchinson.
But I hate that argument because that's a lot of it. FIFA, we drinking tonight because we talking about, well, if you like.
But it's true though. But it's true though. You tell me that Geno Smith couldn't Smith can't do this?
No.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could. He could. With Ben Johnson, he easily could have 10 wins. Are y'all kidding me?
Y'all about to make me go against Ben Johnson when I low key wanted to be the.
You can put Brock Purdy on this team. You can put Brock Purdy on this team. They have 10 wins, bro. They're really talented. They're throwing to offensive linemen. Like, let's not act like Jared Goff is that. Like, they're throwing to O linemen. They're
that was
fucking
against
around.
The Cowboys.
They have some of the bro. They have borderline the best offensive line in football.
Yes, I agree with that.
You give pass protection is great. You give any QB that, they're automatically going to be better than what they are. So you're telling me that with a whole offseason of working under Ben Johnson, that Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, they couldn't get you 9 wins barely and 10 wins confirmed?
I could use that to cut Saquon's.
That's not true. DeAndre Swift is a great backup. DeAndre Swift is a great running back. He did not mean any of this to the team. We tried to hand him the ball. He wasn't breaking shit for 45 yards and jump-starting the offense and letting the defense play downhill. He was getting 8 yards here and there, and then his biggest runs were like 24 yards, 25 yards. He wasn't springing shit for touchdowns. But Saquon is jump-starting the entire team.
But every game he's going to break one,
The reason why I'm cutting that argument is because, yes, but we've seen 1,000-yard rushers behind that offensive line because of how great that offensive line is. If you put someone of Saquon's ability behind it, it looks different. That's what I'm trying to say about Jared Goff. You could put all different kinds of motherfuckers behind that in that offense, and it could probably look somewhat good, but it ain't gonna probably look as good as what Jared Goff is doing.
But it don't look historic, Nick, and that's the point. Look, Saquon, we always knew was one of the best running back talents, right? Even as a rookie. And it was always like, what if, between the injuries, between the roster around him. His best year, he ran for 1,300 plus yards, like 1,350. And I'm rounding up. He already has that.
Exactly.
What we're doing is he's on a historic pace.
And the thing is, though, is that, bro, we had an offensive line that was better than this year years ago with other running backs, and they didn't do any of this. Mm-hmm. We had Miles Sanders, we had DeAndre Swift, we had LeGarrette Blount, all these people, and we won a Super Bowl with Blount and whatnot. But it's like they weren't behind the line rushing for 2,000 yards as like the heart and soul of the team. Like Saquon is jumpstarting the entire team. The defense holds it down, but dude, Saquon is the team, bro.
My thing with Saquon is if he breaks the record, he has to win MVP. So I'm not cutting Saquon, but I'm just saying, like, we can't play ifs with like, well, you put this person in, they're gonna do something similar. It's like, no, it's the person who's doing it right now is the special talent.
I get it.
But with Josh, his numbers though, Nick, aren't spectacular. That's the biggest thing for me.
And that's the point.
He does not.
Can we get the numbers on Jared Goff?
I'll give it to you right now.
I get it, but
Jared Goff leads the NFL in points per game, completion percentage, yards per pass, and ranks second in passer rating and touchdown percentage. Those are the areas that he's leading in.
Points per game is the whole offensive unit, though.
But what about Saquon? Saquon is number one in damn near every statistical category, and he's on a historic pace, Nick.
But if Jared Goff is eighth in yards, he's eighth in passing yards. He's thrown 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, 5 in one game, and he's down there in that tier. You got he's in the
same area as Josh Allen with those stats. And FIFO, if Saquon doesn't break the record, he's out of the MVP conversation completely. They not gonna vote because they're not gonna do that. It's a quarterback award.
I'm with you on that, Nick.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be.
I'm with Nick on that. They're gonna do it that way. And you're right, FIFO. It definitely should not be because what he's doing is historical regardless. But these quarterbacks, man. It's a lot of special stuff going on with a couple of them. They just have some up and down situations. But if you're going to mark it based off wins, yeah, he deserves to be up there. But if I look at these games and watch these games, what I'm seeing Lamar Jackson do to me still is historic, even though he's lost 5 games. He's thrown 3 interceptions and all 3 are questionable. But I know, kid. I know what you're gonna say, kid.
Yeah, don't go your Spike Lee shit right now.
I know, kid. I know.
Let's not do that, Chosen. Let's not do that at all.
I know they probably don't want to give it to him again. Just like same thing we talked about before, like how they kept giving it to Joker. They're not gonna give it to him, but still,
I mean, dude, keep it a band with you. I think that if we have like top 5 spots for MVP race, he's definitely in that top 5 for me. But I think it's hands down, you got to go with the running back Saquon Barkley and quarterback Josh Allen as the top 2. And I think Jared Goff deserves to be in that top 5. I'd have him in like 4 or 5, but it's like
So if the
yeah.
Lions beat the Bills and Jared Goff has, like, let's just say he has the same similar stats that he had against the Packers game, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, over close to 300 or over 300 yards, and they beat the Bills, then what? Josh Allen still leading the league.
Here's what I would Nick if Goff beats Allen, I would love to see how the conversation shifts, because right now this is going to be Josh Allen's award unless Saquon does something crazy. Hands down, this is his to lose no matter what happens. If he loses to Goff, it would be interesting to see how they do that, because Goff right now is 3rd in the race according to The Athletic. The MVP odds for, as of today, actually, they have Josh Allen negative 450, Saquon Barkley at plus 400, and Goff is at plus 1300. Then you got Lamar at 14, and Patrick is way down at 4,000. Patrick, I don't even know why they even put him on here, but it's Josh Allen and Saquon. It's their race. But if he wins and if he plays well in the win, I'd love to see how that conversation shift. Let me read this from Rob Costa. He said Josh Allen has more total yards, touchdowns, and less turnovers than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And it just, bro, and it's also, it just looked different. Like, it looks different. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we didn't give it to Purdy last year, because look at who he has around him. Look at the offensive line. Look at the weapons. Look at the running back. Look at the coach. Look at the offensive coaching. It's set up for you to succeed. And that's why when the
But like,
no, it wasn't. That was like a 2-week thing.
Up until that Ravens game, he was leading the MVP race.
That was like a 2-week thing. They were just floating that idea, dude, because they needed ratings. We all knew that was not gonna happen, because Brock Purdy is still a product of all the greatness around him. I think that Jared Goff is clearly a tier or 2 above, like a notch or 2 above him, not tier, but a notch or 2 above Brock Purdy in terms of ability and talent. But I don't think, if you ask GMs in their heart of hearts, is Jared Goff a system QB? I think most of them would say yes.
They will. And what I was going to say to that too, Q, is if you took a casual person that's not really a fan to a game, if I took them to a Bills game, they're going to leave knowing who Josh Allen is. If I take them to a Lions game, they're not going to know who Jared Goff is. They would know one of the running backs. They would know somebody else. He just doesn't pop when it looks, as far as that. It's not a knock to him. It's just, I'm just talking MVP race, nothing else. He's not the one that stands out. He's not the most valuable player on that field for the Detroit Lions. You need what those running backs bring to the table. Those 1,000-yard rushers mean a lot.
Well, what about the team in the same division, Green Bay? Is Green Bay overrated, y'all?
They're properly rated. I don't think many people really talk about them. They have a young defense, and I think they have blossoming skills positions that are going to get better as they get older. Jordan Love still throwing off his back foot scares me a lot. And then that leads to some really miraculous tight window throws and catches, and also leads to some like, dude, that should have been picked, or that was picked, and why'd you throw that? So for me, I think that Green Bay is properly rated. They should be looked at as like the 7th or 8th best team right now, in my opinion, in that range. So they're gonna do what they do. They might catch a team snoozing in the first round or the wild card. I don't know where they're at position wise right now, but they keep dueling. They keep battling, and I think they'll be okay in terms of seeding.
They will. They were a couple plays away from winning this game. So in saying
couple
that,
calls too.
Mm-hmm. So they're right there where they need to be. They just got to get over. Like he said, they're young, and they got to get over the hump. When you got Jordan Love as the elder statesman on the team, you're a bunch of youth running around the field and making plays, and they showed up and played better than I thought on the road. But once again, that comes with age and experience. A couple games, and they could be in first place right now.
As quiet as it's kept, Dan Kim almost fucked this game over.
He did.
Because he lost one of those fourth down calls that he went for, which gave them, which put the Packers back in it. And then that last gamble he did to end the game, of course, it worked, so no one's gonna complain about it. But I think Green Bay is up there with anybody in the NFC. But again, they have to be there on their best day, though. They're just not one of those teams that can just show up like how y'all talking about the Lions can just show up and they're gonna just dominate based off of all the things they got. And you could probably say the same thing about the Eagles. But to me, as far as Green Bay, like they're probably the dangerous team. Probably them and the Rams are the most dangerous teams. Where it's like if you catch them on their best day, they gonna knock you out.
See, this nigga Nick said a lot of stuff, but he didn't answer the question. To answer the question accurately, yes, they are overrated, and it's because of last season. Last season, we saw these Green Bay Packers take a jump. And what we expected this year was for Jordan Love to ascend to mastery of the quarterback position, and we haven't seen that. What we see is the same guy that ascended last year. We haven't seen him take that jump from last year to this year that everybody thought that they were going to make. Therefore, they're overrated because we want them to be one of the juggernauts of the NFL. And from a talent perspective, they have it. But the difference is, right, Jared Goff, he's a master of that offense. Even though he doesn't jump off the page, Shelton, and I 100% agree with you. Jordan Love does, but he hasn't mastered the position. He hasn't mastered that offense. So they're going to have ebbs and flows. They're not as dominant as we all thought that they were going to be at the beginning of the year. So to answer the question, yes, they are overrated. It's because of last year.
Fevo, I'll answer the question. They not overrated, bro. They if anything, they still damn near underrated because they're 9-4 at this point.
9-4.
Like, and the only losses they got twice against the Lions, once against the Eagles, and they lost to the Vikings in a close game. There's still a lot of football left, so they could fuck around and still be
Nick.
But where they should be based off of last year is that they should at least split with the Lions, and you should make either sweep or split with the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? So
they still can. They still can.
But they got swept by the Lions.
They were a pick away, like I said, one call away. We say one call because that last pass interference call.
That bullshit pass. They was in the red zone. Yeah, they was in the red zone, bro. It was.
And that would have changed the whole trajectory of the game. You would have needed a touchdown to beat them, and I don't think they would have gave up a touchdown. But once again, that's if. But still, they had a chance to do what you said.
But and you saw Dan Campbell's decisions. To me, tells me a lot about what he thinks about his team. One, he respects Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and that offense a lot. And the other thing is he respects it even more because his defense is trash. And that's going to be their issue in the playoffs. And I think that the problem with the Packers is that Jordan Love plays like Dan Campbell coaches. A lot of gambles, Nick. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
that pass that he, but like what you were saying, like when he has his footing right, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Because that pass that when the pocket collapsed and he threw that pass over the top to Watson for that first down, it's like there's not a lot of quarterbacks making that type of pass with that kind of pressure. It's just, but like you said, like when he just throw that, like how you was talking about Ken too, you called it early when he just be, I don't know what he be doing. He hit the motherfucking shoot as he
said it last year.
Off his one leg.
It was scary, wasn't it?
Like it's crazy, but like and that's that's the thing that like I'm worried about Detroit is, and I called this out last year too. I was like, bro, that secondary can get cut up if you got time in the pocket. And since they lost Agent Hutchinson, which they say that he could come back if they get to the championship game. They need something, because if you're not gonna be able to get to the quarterback, like if Detroit faces Philly, they're not gonna rush the quarterback. Like they're not gonna get to Hurts like that quick. Granted, Hurts ain't gonna pass the ball like that, but it's gonna be different challenges where if you give somebody time to throw, they can cut you up.
Nick, I'm gonna call it audible. Let me see if I got
they asking for
it. Rob is, because he's old and he got to go to bed. So let's go. He wants us to talk about Bryce. So this is the next game. So I'm moving this one up. So we can talk about this before
I've
he
been waiting to talk
dips.
about Bryce. I've been telling y'all, man.
The Eagles defeated the Carolina Panthers in a shockingly close game at home, 22-16. I'm going to jump to Bryce Young, and then I'll go to the Eagles question next. But has Bryce Young silenced all the doubters with the way he has been playing to end the season?
Silencing all the doubters is a funny fucking phrase, but no, not silencing all the doubters, but showing that the pedigree is for a reason, bro. Like, I went to Alabama for a reason. I'm not just like, some scrub. I'm not TJ Leaf and shit. You know what I mean? Ryan Leaf, you know what I'm saying? This is really, it's low levels to this whole NFL shit. So I think that he's showing that I went to Alabama for a reason. I got drafted for a reason here. I have talent. I can play, and I'm definitely a starting QB in the league. Up until this moment, I think he showed great strides. He really put the last 3 teams he's played on notice, from Kansas City to, I don't remember the game they played last week, but I think that the Buccaneers, they barely lost that one, and they're barely losing these last 3 games. There's a lot of encouraging things here. Xavier Legette, or whatever his name is, Legette. I don't know how you say it.
You don't need to know his name. He ain't doing shit.
Bro, he's fucking it up. A lot of these games, a lot of drops that don't need to be drops. Yeah. And this is a team that is not very well built on the front line. So if they invest in Bryce and actually put a team around him for real, I think that you can see, next season, I could see them getting 7 wins. You know what I mean? With Bryce, if he continues this type of play.
Well, I think sometimes, man, you got to take a step back before you take a step forward, and that's what we're seeing with Bryce. I was one of the people that said, I wouldn't have benched him in the first place. He looked how he looked because that was just a depiction of the organization top down, and we know that they're one of the worst ran organizations in the league. But to Q's point, what Bryce is showing is, again, that he's not a scrub. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was one of the most highly recruited high school players. He was one of the best college players. And when he's in the league, I'm not calling him one of the best NFL players, but he's playing to prove that he belongs first and foremost, and to remove that B word from his name, which is bust. I don't think he's there yet, but we'll see how good the organization continues to build around him, because it's not an individual talent thing. Obviously, you have to get better year by year, but it's on the organization to get guys around them that can make plays. That's on the organization. So we'll see. I definitely think he got talent. He's not, CJ Stroud. I think, there's a couple of guys in this class and slightly before him that are ahead of him. But can he be viable? Of course. And in the NFC South, every year it's a new team that wins the division. So next year they technically can win it.
I'm gonna say this: I am relieved for Bryce. He scared me for a minute there. I went out on the limb and we'll talk about Bryce being, give him some time, be patient with him. I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for the way he's looking right now. Dave Canales deserves a lot of credit. FIFO, I do disagree with you. Him being benched was the best thing that ever could have happened to him. He was able to sit down and actually see things and slow the game down and watch from a perspective to where you could see what was going on, and that helped him. I don't think, the old days you bench somebody, that's the end of their career. They don't do that no more. Now these quarterbacks, some of them need to sit. Everybody's not Joe Burrow. Everybody's not going to come in the league ready. Everybody's not CJ. They're not going to come out there immediately ready to play day one, and they're not going to come out there balling and killing the league always. That's just not the reality of the situation. Sometimes you have to sit back, take a step back, learn some stuff, and then step up and play. What I'm most impressed with Bryce is his maturity. I think he's very mature, and he showed that in the humility to keep going, even though all the people were talking about him, everybody downing him, and he still came out and played well these last few games. And they've hung in every game. No game has been too big. He was in the game with Kansas City. He was in the game with the Eagles. That's saying a lot for a second-year quarterback that nobody believed in the beginning of the season. So I think he did show he belongs.
Yeah, I'm never not too quick on dismissing QBs within 2 years. Like we need more time to see that. And I was more shocked that people were ready to say like Carolina should move off and draft another QB because I'm like, come on, bro. Like he literally went to the worst franchise and arguably in the league. So like you got to give him time. However, going off of this particular game, they should have won this game. Like if Xavier catches that damn ball, that's a game-winning touchdown right there, and we having a whole different conversation.
It was game tying. I think it was 16-22 was the final score.
Yeah,
I thought it was 16.
22-16.
Yep.
22-16. Oh, they got 19 over there.
19.
Well, they probably would have went for 2 just to get up out of there because they was a road team. But nonetheless, he looked like Shelton. I got Saquon on my fantasy, and I picked up Philly's defense thinking like, oh, they gonna run through Carolina, bro. This motherfucker lost me the damn playoffs and shit like that. Based off what he was doing, because that when he was in the back of the end zone and trying to scramble, and he made the first, like, to me, that's like
crazy.
That's not a play that anybody's doing, especially for his size. Everybody was like, there were some plays where I saw where this nigga had to literally jump up and throw the football.
Yeah, he was elusive now.
Just to get over the offensive lineman or defensive line. Like, so he's it seems like, and I know a lot of players say this in their second year, things slow down and they can kind of get more adjusted to the game. So this is what it's looking like. So I hope that they can continue to build around him because I think the reason why they can't give up on him is because how much draft capital they spent on him to turn their franchise around. But I'm all for black quarterbacks getting a second chance, even if it is still on their rookie deal. So I'm happy for him.
I think that when you come into the league as a number one pick, I think Bryce might have been feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? Not in the sense that that's a bad thing, but when you've been the guy and you've been that dude, like, man, you walk in like, bro, all right, I'm about to come in here. I'm going to be not the, he could have had a savior complex for the franchise, but I think you go in with the I'm that guy mentality. I'm him, right? And then you realize that the infrastructure around you is really dilapidated, and you're like, oh, this is not a great situation, but you still have that mentality. I think that he got in his own head a little bit last year, and heading into the beginning of the season, he probably got into his own head. And like what FIFO said, it's really true that sometimes you got to subtract to add. So I'd be interested to know if he went to a sports psychologist or if he had started meditating or if he just started taking long walks or whatever, because he went from, I could be completely wrong here, but it looks like he went from the arrogance of I'm him, I'm that guy to let me show y'all I'm a pro. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck trying to save the franchise. Let me show y'all that I am a competent NFL QB. And I think that's what we're seeing now is a subtraction from that ego and more so like, I'm just show y'all that I'm a professional.
Nah, Q, he wasn't that. I never saw that with him. What I always saw from him was he was unsure. And rightfully so. What he had on that team, he knew coming into that situation, it wasn't a great situation. I don't think he was no fool in thinking that he was going to come and tear the league up because he knew he didn't have offensive line. He knew he didn't have weapons on the outside. He knew he didn't have they didn't know Chuba was going to play like this year, but he didn't have that type of running game. So he knew he was devoid of all this stuff. So what I saw was a shy kid that was thrust into the spotlight saying, here, you better run with, you better lead us. And he wasn't ready to lead. So that's why bringing in Andy Dalton was good for him because he was able to sit behind that veteran, like I said. And he had somebody who he picked his brain. He never let it get him down, and he learned from it, and he came back humble, but still, he knew his place. And I like Bryce. I've always liked him, even in college, because he seemed like a good kid. I don't know him, of course, but he seems like a good kid. So I've never seen arrogance from him. I just never seen it.
So he's gonna be what, like an Amazon Basics version of Kyler Murray? Is that what we're saying?
No. He's not Kyler.
He's gonna be the Aldi's version of Kyler.
The great value tour.
He ain't quick as Kyler. Kyler's quick.
Hey, you know what, bro? If all else fails for Bryce Young, just fake your death and go play for Bill Belichick at UNC, bro. Like you would fit right in. Yeah. Be like, we got a 5'8" QBs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bryce Young has been serviceable. And I think that, Shelton, you may have been right. I think when he was on the bench, he looked out there and he saw Dalton and he was like, ain't no way in hell I can be that much worse.
Mm-hmm.
He said,
low key, I think he called somebody that little car crash incident that dog had.
That's crazy.
I think he called somebody what? It was a hit and run. Boy.
That wasn't an accident, wasn't it?
They called it a hit and young.
Hey, where was the guy that killed the CEO from United Healthcare? Where was he at that day?
I'm about to say. We'll let it find out.
Hey, bro, it lined up too easy, man.
It did.
Check Bryce's closet. He got a fucking mask and a hoodie, and
You find out Bryce and Tanya Harding.
that shit is crazy.
I'm still watching him though. I'm glad he's playing well because he was trash. He was a bust. I don't know what y'all talking about. He was absolute garbage.
I wasn't giving up on him, kid. It was too early. It was only one season and a few games. It was like, bro, that's too early.
It wasn't too early, bro. It was looking awful.
Ken, I was blaming Carolina though. I wasn't blaming him.
Bryce said his worst. Bryce said his worst still didn't look as worse as Daniel Jones at his worst, or guys like Anthony Richardson at their worst.
Yeah, we were trashing like Zach. Like there were a lot of QBs that came out early that we didn't waste any time trashing in their first or second year.
Because you can see it in the mechanics. You can see it in his mechanics. He has a good base of like study of the position. It's just legitimately people ain't open. I think he was the most hit QB last year.
Yeah, he didn't have no time. And
he had no time.
Receivers is trash.
He had no time, and now his wide receivers are dropping everything. Thielen, his best receiver, Thielen's like 32.
Thielen balling too.
Yeah, he's balling. He should have got sold out at the trade deadline. He would have helped out at the real team for real.
Yeah,
but like
that's what Kansas City needed.
Yes.
To me, those other QBs, Ken, the difference is like what you said, the pedigree. Like we didn't really see was like Zach Wilson wasn't doing shit with where he was at to get where he was drafted at.
Yeah.
Neither was Trey Lance, neither was Mac Jones. Like some of these other motherfuckers, it's like, bro, we seen what he was in college, and we know like shit. If Jalen Hurts can do what he doing, shit, Bryce Young can do. Like we know that we can see a better.
That's true.
From that, you know what I'm saying? Put him in the right situation and with the right environment, he can excel.
Well, speaking of Jalen Hurts, it's been the talk of the week, man. Jalen Hurts in this passing game, it's been a lot of noise about what transpired Sunday and why they were Xavier Leggett dropped from losing that game in spite of what Saquon was able to do. Brandon Graham came out, said some things. He had to backtrack. He made it seem like they ain't even friends anymore.
And the crazy thing,
I know y'all niggas hate each other, but y'all got to talk.
The crazy thing, this is all coming from Philly. Ain't nobody asking them none of this shit.
Right.
They volunteering this shit. It's like,
right. Devontae Smith said one thing, and it's just like, oh, here we go. Yeah, this has been a wild situation. Sirianni came out today, and he's trying to kind of stabilize things. And I think that what Sirianni is going to do is he's going to. He has one goal in mind, and he's gonna rise Saquon Barkley's legs for catching everything to a Super Bowl because he wants to. It's redemption for him for what happened last year, and right now, if he don't have to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, he is not going to do that. And and everybody else have to just deal with it and get on board. And if they don't get on board, man, this thing could fall apart quickly.
This is a copy and paste of last year. Am I not right, FIFO? Like right around the same time, they went in. They got one of the best records in the league, and all of a sudden we hearing some bullshit at the locker room. Like these niggas don't really get along. Somebody got to really take it. And to me, this of course falls on Sirianni, because how the hell do you allow this same shit to happen again as the head coach? Like this nigga motherfucker shaved his whole head off trying to act like that was gonna change some shit.
It did.
It didn't.
They went 9-0 when he shaved his head.
No, Saquon went 9-0. So, like to me, it's again, it says two things to me. One, Jalen Hurts may not be the leader that we thought he was. And two, Sirianni damn sure ain't the leader that we all knew he was.
Is it so? I got a question because I know the Eagles fan Q got a lot to say here, but based on what I've been reading, because I've been really interested in the story because it's messy and y'all know I love mess. It made it seem like Jalen Hurts, because of his beef, isn't throwing the ball to AJ Brown when he's open. Am I reading in between the lines on that? Am I adding some shit on top of that? Or he just don't see him? Is he that bad? Because Jalen Hurts can see AJ Brown. He's not that bad. Like, the guy can throw the football to wide open people.
Hopefully.
I just think that there's been an expose that's happened with Jalen Hurts' passing abilities. I think that he can see guys when they're wide open, but he reads the field really slow. Like, his processing ability is, I think, below average. And I think that that's what has been the problem here. It's not the fact that he can't make the throw. It's the fact that he don't see it. I think that he gets scared because he's scared to throw interceptions. And I think that when you're second guessing like that, you just would rather hold the ball super long, you know what I mean? Just try to scramble around, make something happen, rather than put the ball into harm's way because you're not trying to get crucified by the media. But that's just the catch-22 that we're, living in with Jalen Hurts right now. Is he's too afraid to take the risk, and he's too in his head to just read the field the way he should. And I think that I think that he's just been, this last 2 years has just been a real education in seeing the limitations of certain QBs. And I think that his regression as a passer, regardless of what the stats say, I think that it's evident when you watch the games. It's just not the same, bro. Like, he needs to be able to hit certain throws, or certain guys are just wide open and he's just not seeing it. I don't know if that's because of the interception solely, if that's also because of whatever Kellen Moore is doing. But nah, man, I can't really give him too many excuses because you put a plethora of QBs in this type of situation, and they'll be feasting right now. Even if they are the game manager, even if they are asked to play the Alex Smith role like we're asking him right now, dude, you still got to be able to hit the gimme throws. You still got to be able to hit the game manager type of throws. Like, if A.J. Brown's coming open on a crossing route, you got to hit him. If Devontae Smith is open on a comeback, you got to hit him. You know what I'm saying? If Jahan Dotson is open on a hook route, you got to hit him. And instead, I think that it's some type of processing error here where he's seeing ghosts or he's afraid to put the ball in the harm's way. And I don't know what that is, but that's a ceiling on it's a ceiling on our season, FIFO,
100%. But there's always been a ceiling on Jalen Hurts, and Spike's not here, so we're not mentioning him as a running back, as a glorified running back. But the thing about Jalen Hurts is he is what we know he is now. We there's enough tape, there's enough film. He's been in the league long enough, and this is just a plateau of his, but we always knew that his passing wasn't going to be elite. It wasn't because of he's devoid of arm talent. Part of what Q is saying is true. Is processing. It's being comfortable in the pocket. It's going through your progression relatively quickly, depending on what you see after you snap the ball. He's just not there. He's not going to be elite in those categories. Doesn't mean that you can't win with him. It just means that Jalen Hurts is what he is, and the way that you're going to have to build around him is you're going to have studs at the wideout. You're going to have a running back and an O-line, because you can't count on him to overcome these things on a consistent basis to get those wins. It's going to be a team effort style of football team that you're going to have to build around him, which is fine. Nick, the one thing I will say that I do disagree with you is last year I felt the Eagles were just floundering, and it felt like what was happening off the field was bleeding onto the field. I can't necessarily say it feels like that this year. It feels like they do have an identity. It feels like the leader of that squad is Saquon, and we know how quiet Saquon can be. Obviously, his game speaks volumes, but we know he's like, nah, man, I don't need the extra 50 yards. I'm not trying to go for these records. He's so humble that it feels like that's the reason why whatever is happening off the field isn't bleeding onto the field, because there is a true leader in that locker room, and it's just not Jalen Hurts. You know, it doesn't always have to be the quarterback.
But is that not insane? And Shelton, of course, I want to get your take, but isn't that not insane, bro? This nigga just got here, bro. And we looking at him as the leader of the locker room. But Jalen Hurts, you know what? Jalen Hurts, we paid this nigga all this bread after coming out of the Super Bowl, and usually that means that he got the C on his chest, right?
Okay, but quarterbacks naturally are going to have say, but it doesn't mean that everybody's always going to follow, right? Like, we know that people first and foremost respect around the league, players respect Saquon as a talent. That's number one. Number two, to see how humble he is, that has to elevate his leadership, you know what I'm saying, in that building. And then when you just see him every single day, knowing what he came from, knowing that every year he came in, for the first 3 to 4 weeks, maybe he was optimistic that this might be the year. Come week 5 or 6, and then he dies through 15 picks. We know what it is. So everybody feels for Saquon, and I'm not saying it's a pity party, but what I'm saying is players know what the real is.
But my thing as a leader, though, is like, if you can't, it's kind of like what they say about relationships. I always say this, like, if we argue on vacation, what the hell how are we gonna be when we just at home? So my thing is like, if y'all arguing still while y'all winning all these games, like Shelton, Sirianni, he got the best record, or the Eagles in general, like, have one of the best records of the last 3 seasons or whatever, or since he became a head coach, like, they're winning games. So what the fuck is we arguing about? You know what I'm saying?
If you listen to stories from all types of championship teams, you know, like I shared the OG podcast, which is Mike Miller and Udonis Haslam. They had Pat Riley on there. Like that was amazing. You listen to Draymond Green and Steph Curry talk about their championship over there, all those championship years. And sometimes, bro, like, it's not gonna be all roses. Like, we don't all have to be singing kumbaya. Some of the people, bro, I only talk to you when I see you in the building or in the game, bro. Like, that's just what it is. That's just like, you have certain coworkers that you're closer to and certain that you're not, and it's just, it bleeds to the locker room. It bleeds to the field. It bleeds to all of these places. But last year, again, the Eagles felt fractured. It didn't look right on the field. We were questioning all types of stuff. When I watched those same Eagles this year with Saquon, it looks like, oh, well, shit, they don't figure it out. Get that man the ball. You know,
is that figuring it out, though? Or is that just giving the best running back in the league the football?
No. That's what I'm telling you, is those additional qualities of leadership that Saquon is bringing to that locker room.
I'm gonna counter that, FIFO, as well. It's not Saquon. Saquon is not the leader of this team. He's really not. If you want to look for leaders, you look for guys like CJ, GJ is a leader. Believe it or not, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He's the leader of this team. And he's the fire, and he's the heart and soul. Bringing him back has made all the difference in the world for that defense. I don't know if you know the difference or not. Zach Bond is the leader on this team. And I'm not saying Saquon is not a leader. What I'm saying is he's not the main voice. These guys are following their fire, and that's the difference in this team, is the defense more than anything else. That's the difference between this year and last year. Last year, you saw James Bradbury and a confused bunch go out there on defense. This team rallies around each other, and you see them fighting to make plays against the other team. These teams are scared of them on defense. Now, you saw Thielen have a good game this time, but they still held Carolina to 16 points. You know what I'm saying? So the defense is what's been stepping up all year for this team, and Fangio has got them dudes playing. So that is a huge difference. Now,
my thing. No, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What'd you have?
No, what I was going to say is, like, I see everybody talking about it's AJ. AJ's the only problem. And I'm like, I feel like AJ may be you know how it is in certain locker rooms where, like, there's a lot of people talking, but there's only one person that's going to speak up. Like, maybe that's the case with AJ with Office, because it's like he may be the only one that's willing to be like, Jalen Hurts got to do his fucking job, bro. I'm out here, like, y'all brought me here to ball, and I've been balling since I got here. And like Q said, like, I'm out here wild. Like, when there's play calls for me to get the ball and I don't get the ball, that's a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these situations are gonna come up in the playoffs. You're not gonna face Carolinas. You're not gonna face the Giants and all the other shit when you get into the playoffs. Like, there's gonna be situations where Saquon may get locked up one game, or he may not have it as much as he is, during the regular season. So then what happens next? It's like, how are we being a well-oiled machine on all fronts? And to me, that may be the role that AJ is playing as a leader on the football team, especially within that wide receiver core. Is like, bruh, we need to play well on all fronts. The same shit that you would not accept loss should not be something that you like gloss over in a win.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and
that's been the problem.
And that is definitely huge. To say, is there a need to worry about it? I don't think there's a need to worry about.
You said that last year too, Sheldon.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that last year. I didn't say that.
I said we gotta run the tape.
Go run the tape, because I said all last year. I said it wasn't pretty. I said they winning.
You got to that point where they were losing. When they started losing, you said it wasn't pretty.
No, I didn't. I always said it didn't look good. Didn't I say that all last year, Ken? I said it every game. I said it didn't look good. I said they got to look better. I always said that. This year,
you were blaming the OC though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even in the wins, I said they're running the same routes. If you looked at the route tree, it looked crazy. There was nothing going across the middle. There was no motion. There was nothing that separated this team that made them any better. That's what I said last year. This year, I ain't say none of that stuff. This year, I'm not worried about what they got going on now. Yeah, they have issues. Yes, Jalen needs to play better. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like he's playing well. He's not playing at his level of capabilities. I know he can do better. We've seen him have 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, so I know he can do it. That's not a question about whether he can make the throws. It's if he's going to make them. Now, I will say this, and it's something that I've been holding in and looking at for a minute. Him and AJ have had something that's been off. It's been off for a minute. I don't know if you pay attention to it in the games, but some of those passes he throws to AJ that are incomplete, AJ does quit on him. He'll stop running in the middle of a route, and it's like, dang, why you run that out? Like, I ain't saying you could have caught it, but you could at least try it. AJ will just stop running and go back to the huddle. And I noticed that a lot of times they'll ask AJ questions about Jalen, and he kind of just brushes it off. So I saw this kind of brewing for a minute, and I always go back and watch AJ interviews. After every game, I go see what AJ has to say, because I kind of know he's temperamental. Devontae is a team guy. I don't worry about Devontae. It's AJ that I think about, and I'm not saying AJ is wrong in what he's feeling. He's right. Passing has to get better. It does. And I also saw what I saw looks like Jalen is looking him off. That touchdown pass to
Calcaterra.
No, not that one. The first one. The one to
Devontae.
Yeah, to Devontae. He did have AJ wide open. And it was an easier throw. And that wasn't the only time he had AJ open that he looked at him. And I get it, Q, because I thought the same thing. Yeah, Jalen's reading it slow. Jalen is and what I thought for a second, I didn't thought about all this week and reading everything I can read. I thought at first, okay, well, he's just trying not to turn the ball over because the media was all on him about turnovers. Jalen's going to turn the ball over. It's going to be like last year. He cut those turnouts out completely, except for the Dallas game. He had 2, but they won big, and it was not a big deal. But it's like he took something away from his game so that this could happen. So he could kind of just don't turn the ball over and we'll win. That's kind of how it looked to me. But like I said, this past game, I did see him look AJ off a couple different times. And I'm like, I wonder if he's doing that shit on purpose. I really can't tell. But what
I think he's just scared. I mean, not scared, like, but I think he's mindful. I think he's mindful of media, mindful of the turnovers. And I think that he's kind of, I don't know, he kind of crying and whining too much for me by like always sending shots at like OCs and sending shots at Sirianni. Like, I get it, bro. Sirianni's not really doing much for this team besides like just a vocal cheerleader leader, kind of like a guy. But Jalen Hurts, to me, it's an issue to worry about, because if I can't trust you to just make the gimme throws, we can't just say that we're going to win off of our defense holding people under 20 and Saquon Barkley just being the Energizer Bunny who gets us started in the playoffs. I'm not willing to rest my hat on that being the soul of the entire Super Bowl run. Jalen Hurts has to be able to hit the X receiver. Like, he's the X for a reason. Like, he's the one. He's the number one option. And when you are not looking at him when it's being called, of course I understand AJ on some diva shit where it's like, oh, so now you want to throw me the fucking ball? Like, bro, I'm probably not even the first option on this play. I'm probably the third option on this play. You're probably trying to get to Calcaterra, or you're probably calling the play for Devontae, and then you throw me the ball when maybe the DB is, covering me, more than I'm wide open on the other route. And it's just like, I'm not saying that AJ's right or wrong, but it's like, I understand that mentality, and I understand Jalen's mentality when it's like, bro, dude, you open now, so keep running the route. It's some weird shit going on.
It is.
And it's also with the fact that AJ, I think he's not on. He had I think he has like 44 or 46 receptions this year. Last year he had like 106 or something. Yeah. And of course he's been nicked and he's been hurt.
He's missed like 3 games. Yeah,
missed like 3 games. But I think that he's looking at it like, dude, we could be cutting into that a little bit more. I should be at least like at 65, you know what I mean, something like that. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's not like necessarily. It's not a dumpster fire like last year where we had no identity and we had no real things to hang our hat on. But this is definitely concerning. I think anybody who says that this is not a concern going into the playoffs when you need your QB to hit these throws, I think you'd be kind of lying to yourself here, man. This is something to be concerned about.
But it's 2 things for me, and I'm going to say this and then I'll turn it over. But it's a couple things to this for me. One reason I'm not concerned is because, well, a couple of reasons that I'm not concerned is, one, have you seen their record after being down by 10? Have you seen what Jalen has done, his passing and his everything that he's done when he's down in these games? It's remarkable. He was like 11-13 in this game with 2 passing touchdowns after going down in this Carolina game. He was down when he was making these plays. So he can do it. It ain't a question of can he do it, but it's just when he's going to do it. So he needs to be doing this at the beginning of the game. That's and I'm with everybody else. I see the same thing everybody else see. I want him to start, and somebody just needs to tell him, like, look, man, play ball. Just do what you do. Do what got you here. Do what you've shown you can do. You led this team to a Super Bowl. Do it again. Just do it, and it'll be fine. And then 2, I think it's really strange, like you said, that all this stuff is coming out all week. We've been talking about the Eagles, and Josh Allen lost. You know what I'm saying? And we talk more about the Eagles and the win than we did Jared Goff in a 5-interception game. And I'm like, how is this the subject always overshadowing everything else? I don't know. And maybe it's
nobody else has these locker room issues.
Yeah, we're only talking about it because of the issues. Like, we know of.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no like we have to be. This is what it is. Is the Eagles have a fleet of luxury vehicles, and it feels like they're not being driven to the full potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really being appreciated. It's like the 49ers, when they made the Super Bowl run, they had patches here and there last year where it was like, is Brock Purdy the guy? But you were able to execute in enough of those games to be like, I think Brock Purdy can get you there and execute Kyle Shanahan's system. With Jalen Hurts, I think that it just looks really out of whack sometimes, where it's like, I don't know if the guy's mechanics is conducive for a Super Bowl winning QB most of the time. That's just what I see when I see him as a quarterback, where it's like there's some games where the Bengals game, you look really good in the second half, but dude, it's just not there for me when I'm like when a guy has it. I don't doubt Joe Burrow when he's throwing the ball. I don't doubt Patrick Mahomes when he's throwing the ball. I don't doubt Josh Allen when he's throwing the ball. When I see Jalen Hurts, I have to let's see which one we get this week, and that's a problem.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts historically in his whole career has ups and downs like this. We've seen it. It's been documented. We saw it in college. He'll get hot, then he'll cool off, and he'll look awful. And then you start questioning him. This is probably one of those moments again, and we'll see if he can bounce back from that. Sheldon, the only reason we're talking about it is because Brandon Ingram and all of them started talking shit about the passing game. If none of them said this, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. But it's they are the ones that are putting this out there. So, I think it is. You went on to say you're not concerned, and then went on to talk about a lot of things that were concerning.
No. What I meant, Ken, though, is I'm not concerned that they're not going to get it right. I know it's going to be right. I'm not worried about it. He's been to the Super Bowl. He can go back, and I don't see it being an issue. I don't. I really don't.
I think they can get back. I think Saquon can get them there this year, not Jalen Hurts. But you can't tell me an A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, according to Brandon Ingram, they used to be friends. Brandon Graham, they used to be friends. I don't know what happened. Isn't a problem.
And that's the biggest issue I have right there, Ken, is I admittedly said a couple weeks ago, we need to be Saquon centric, and we have transitioned to that fully 1,000%. And the problem with that is that Jalen Hurts has to maximize the throws that are the give me throws, because regardless, I'm knocking on every single type of, wood available. You know what I'm saying? Saquon Barkley has an injury history. And if we cannot hit the give me throws, if we cannot hit the wide open, AJ Brown streaking wide open, Devontae Smith is wide open in the flat, you have Calcaterra wide open in the flat, you have to hit these guys. If you cannot do that, and you continue to put wear and tear and ask for Barkley to put the cape on every single game against the Panthers, against the Ravens, against whoever, the probability of either wear and tear coming back to bite us, whether it's injury or not, I don't like those odds, because it shouldn't have to be all on Barkley. Like, he came to the Eagles because he thought he was going to get a QB who could hit guys wide open. Mm-hmm. And instead, it's here and there. It's Jekyll and Hyde for me, dude. And I need way more consistency from a quarterback than this, and that is very concerning.
It is, and I'm with you on that part. But I still do see, in the way I kind of look at it, half full too. I saw he had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions this game, no turnovers. So I saw he a bad game for him is a great game for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
108 yards passing. And 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I know we got to move on, but it's expectations though. Expectations.
I get it.
Elevate that. Sheldon. We're not comparing him to Bryce Young. We're comparing him to.
Let's compare him. Like I said, let's compare him to Goff. Goff had under 100 yards in the game. Ain't nobody said a word about it. Nobody.
Yeah, but you were also shitting on it too.
No. I'm saying nobody else mentioned it. It wasn't mentioned in the media. It wasn't mentioned anywhere. And their yards are not that far off.
Yeah, because the offense looks crisp. And they're not in the locker room fighting each other.
They are in the locker room fighting each other in these places.
You know what I'm saying, Shelton. Shelton, you know what I'm talking about, though. You know it's not verbal, Shelton, but it's not verbal. We don't know about it.
It's different in Philly. It really is. It really is
that's the difference. Like they are together. They have chemistry. We don't know whatever issues that they may have. We don't know about it. The Eagles continue to broadcast all this shit, and that's the issue.
You know what else? Last thing.
Real quick, let me say one thing. I was just gonna say is media reports that they eat lunch together every day too. So I'm like, how much fighting do they do if they hang with each other all the time? But what you got, Q?
I tell you like this, man. Like, to Sheldon's half full point, and then like we can move on. If Jalen Hurts repeated his 2023 stats of like 3,200 passing yards, 67 completion, 15 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 708 yards rushing, would that be a good season for y'all? Would you say?
I suppose, yeah.
Right? The only problem with that is that's Daniel Jones' numbers from 2022. That's not Jalen Hurts' numbers. So it's like, it's clearly fucking stats can lie to us. So that's what I'm saying. It's gotta look right. You feel me? And it's just not looking right. I need it to look right, bro. Come on.
I don't need to look right. I need to keep winning. And if he winning more than every other quarterback since 2022, it don't matter how it looks to me. I don't care. A win is a win. Give me the win.
It's only a win is a win when you need it to be a win. Any other situation is not a win.
When it's a team that I'm rooting for, if they win.
Yeah, a win is a win. That's it. Every other situation, you shit on them.
No.
Now let's shit on another team. We talk about something that ain't looking right. The Falcons. We got two more stories, and then it's been a pretty lengthy show. We got two more stories left. Man, the Vikings, bro, they continue to shock the world by dominating the Atlanta Falcons at home, 42-21. The fact that they gave up all of those scores in the fourth quarter is just crazy. And what was supposed to be Kirk Cousins' revenge game, is it now time to admit the Vikings are legitimate Super Bowl contenders? And should the Falcons bench Cousins for the rest of the seasons? For context, Kirk Cousins has thrown 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 4 games, all of which ended in losses. All right,
say that again. What?
That's
Kid trying to predict. He trying to protect his Super Bowl pick. That's why he said it like.
Oh man,
0 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Jeez.
He gonna get hot, man.
Maybe in hell. I don't know about that.
He's already on the hot seat, Ken. Nah, it's a wrap for that boy, man. Look, this is the reason why they drafted Penix. Now is the time. You got to see what you got with him. He's an older quarterback as well that has had a injury history. You know, we well documented this at the beginning of the season during the NFL draft. So we've already talked about it, but now is the time, Ken. Now is the time to pull the trigger. Kurt, he's struggling out there, Ken.
That's velocity, a lot of money, people.
No, I understand, but this is the reason why you drafted who you drafted, and this is an option. You know, when you draft a quarterback in the top 10 after you pay a quarterback a guaranteed $180 million, this is what it looks like, Ken. I understand what the money say, but you know what? Kirk Cousins don't look good, and now's the time.
Can we change the graphic first so people know what we're talking about? But I said this early. Hey, y'all motherfuckers was they was saying all types of shit to me, and I'm just trying to, like I do, Ken. I'll be early. They call me a hater, but when I'm on time, I'm on time. Kirk Cousins is who we always thought he was. He ain't never changed. He's been the most consistent quarterback in the league, Sheldon. I say that. He ain't shit. All right. And the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now leading the division at 7-6. With the Falcons having swept them in the regular season and should be having a 2-game lead over them is insane. They were 6-3 at one point, and they've lost 4 straight. It's insane, and I get it. I didn't blame them for start, because to me they should have started Penix a couple weeks ago. But this game was supposed to be his revenge game, so you let him start. But moving forward with the cupcake schedule, I think that they have left over for the rest of the season, you gotta let the rookie go, bro. You gotta let him start, because at this point, we're talking about the rookie contract more than Kirk Cousins' investment that we made.
Do you though? And I'm with you. I want to see Penix out there. I think he can do it. I think he'll be fine. But in this case, for some people, they would argue you want to have the veteran out there because you still got a realistic chance of winning this division.
Do you?
Going on to the playoffs. You really do.
Yeah, but the vet is cold though. The vet is cold, and the rookie might be hot right now. You got to see what you got.
Shelton, you was talking about Goff throwing, bro. He threw 4
I'm
picks
with you. I'm with you.
4 picks in the game, and they lost. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just like bro, how much worse can Penix? Shelton, you can go out there and do the same shit that Kirk Cousins. Zero touchdowns in 4 games with the weapons that he has on that offense is insane.
You know, let's talk about that, because that's where you have to start Penix for. Because I think you need to see how many weapons, because I told y'all about all that mythology that y'all keep spewing about these Atlanta I don't see it, man. They got as much weapon. They have as much weapons as Afghanistan, bro. Like it's fucking wiped out, my nigga. Like I don't see none of that shit, bro. It's just all rocks.
They got some weapons, Q.
No.
Kyle Pitts is terrible.
Bijan is nice.
Terrible.
Bijan
Robinson is cool. He's cool. Drake London is cool. He play like a Drake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like he playing like Drake.
He play like a Drake from London. But
Kyle
Pitts, I see Kyle Pitts, bro. The ball was right here. This motherfucker dropped it. I'm
he's
like,
terrible. I'm sorry, he's terrible.
He's not. He's a top 4 overall pick, bro. He was supposed to be changing the game for the position, and he garbage.
He is terrible, man. He's so terrible, man. I mean, Drake London is cool. I mean, Bijan Robinson, I feel like he should be better. I think they got to invest in the O-line more. But I don't see this gauntlet of like, you know what I mean? It's not like they have the Eagles squad. It's not like they have like prime Kansas City with Tyreek and Kelsey. Like, I don't see that for them. But I think you have to start Penix because you need to see if any of those guys are really worth a damn. I think Bijan is, of course. I think Drake has shown that he's a good player. But you got to see what capacity of stardom these players around Cousins even have at this point. So you got to throw Penix out there to see if that investment is worth it. Do I have to pay Kyle Pitts coming up? Like, it's a lot of questions more here for Atlanta. And I told y'all Tampa Bay was going to win the division, man. I told
it ain't won yet.
It's already over. It's already over.
No.
I think it may
it's
be
already
over.
Ken.
It may be over, Ken, because you can't have a lead over the division. This reminds me of how Miami was last year, where they had that big lead and then they lost it to the Bills, and then we ended up seeing them get bounced out of playoffs. This may be worse because they might not even make the playoffs because if they don't win the division, they're not getting in because of the NFC North.
They'll win the division,
dude. If I tell you this, if we lived in a just world, we would be able to sue Kirk Cousins for financial terrorism. The nigga, this shit is unreal what he's doing to the state of Georgia.
He get everybody all the time too, because he set it up nice. He always come out looking nice.
He like Marty from Ozark.
He is Marty.
This is the most interceptions he's thrown in 13 seasons. I don't know. He's falling off a cliff, but also the defense hasn't been good. They gave up 4 completions that went from 40 yards. Two of them, they just walked in the end zone.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. And it was both of them. Like, Justin Jefferson hadn't scored a touchdown in a month. This motherfucker had 2 in a game. Like,
I don't know.
I was like, man, that cornerback needs some contact.
Yeah, Penix probably won't play until the last game of the season.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's not gonna happen, Nick.
But the thing is, Ken, is like you did all this so you could guarantee that for one, you wouldn't have to deal with shitty quarterback play, and 2, that you would guarantee that you can win the division. Coming into the season, he was the best quarterback of the division. And now it's looking like Baker is the best quarterback of the division for the last 2 years.
It's looking like Raheem Morris can't coach.
Yeah, ever since he swag surfing and started rapping, that's when it was over. He was good before that.
You're right, Shelton.
Ever since he started cooning, that shit.
That was the beginning of the end, right there. When I saw he scored a touchdown, his ancestors they scored a touchdown.
Kirk Cousins, like this shit was not good for him, man. I'm trying to tell you.
When they called him Kurt Cobangs, I was like, that's the beginning of the end, bro. I knew that shit was a wrap. And I told y'all about Raheem Morris. I was like, this nigga on the hot seat if they don't.
No, Raheem Morris is terrible. Like let's just let that shit go, man. And let's see Nick act like Mike Tomlin is Raheem Morris. That's the shit that be killing me.
I have different.
If the chat could see the Dead End Sports chat, y'all would Nick be in there calling Raheem Morris a hip hop coach. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy.
He a trap coach.
Yeah,
he worse than that. He a trap coach. My thing with Raheem is more about like, bro, it's expectations. With Mike Tomlin, it's the standard, right? The standard is the standard. In Atlanta, it's the expectations, bro. It should not look this bad, bro. You should not be under 500 with that roster in that division. It's insane.
Not in that division, no.
Nah. Last one. Man, we kind of buried the lead a little bit on this one, but we did Rob a favor. The Bills ended up in a shootout with the Los Angeles Rams. Josh Allen with a career day, first time ever that a quarterback has ran for 3 touchdowns and threw for 3 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns in the game. Shelton, we talked about 5 picks in the game and won. We talked about 4 picks in the game and lost. And now we're talking about 6 touchdowns in the game and lost. Crazy effort by Josh Allen that didn't end up with the results, but it was the game somehow, some way that won him the MVP. The thing we have to ask ourselves, though, after all of that, You go up Stafford, man. Stafford, bro. That guy's something else, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to play him, bro. He is lethal.
Balling.
Yeah. Are the Bills overrated, man?
We keep asking this damn question. No, I don't think that the Bills are overrated. He just threw for a career day, and he just happened to lose because he's the heart and soul of the team, which is what an MVP is made of. Like, if you show up, do your job. I mean, dog, this is what's happening to Joe Burrow every week. Is he showing up? Are the Bengals overrated? No, they're probably rated. They're a terrible team, but they have an amazing QB. The Bills happen to have a top 3 QB, just like Joe Burrow, but they have a better defense. And that's what's keeping them in a lot of games too, is that Josh Allen can put points on the board and the defense is getting stops here and there. So I think that it's just the tale of what the tape says, man. Like, he's properly rated as an MVP candidate. The team is above average, and that's largely due to his play. So I don't think that that's, and plus Stafford is an amazing QB. They're playing in LA. There's a couple calls here and there that you could say either way swung the last quarter, but it was an amazing game, and the Bills fans shouldn't look at this as anything other than the fact that you live and die by Josh Allen.
Well, that defense. Go ahead.
Maybe you won't face teams with Nakua and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they was balling, bro. Balling out.
I didn't even know how. Of course, you know how good Cooper Kupp was because we seen him do what he did in that Super Bowl run. But Puka, Puka was. This was the breakout game. It's like if you wanted to see what Puka
number 1 receiver,
but that catch that he had where he caught it and had the toe tap falling forward, bro. That may be. I know we've seen a lot of great plays and a lot of great catches this season, but that has to be a top 10 catch of the year because, bro, that concentration and agility, like. All I'm saying is that, first of all, with the Bills, we do this every year, but Josh Allen been looking good for ever since he got Diggs, Ken. And we always trying to throw him up there and all that other shit. But when shit come down to where they face a real motherfucker during when shit counts, not to say this is one of those games where shit counted because it's just a regular season game, but when they slipping, they slip. Like you give up 44 points to Matt Stafford. I see why the Rams is balling like that and doing all that shit. But for the Bills, I expected a lot more for the Bills. I know most of us picked them to win that game, I think, during our picks last week. So I was surprised at how shitty that defense could look when you got a real legit QB with some weapons on the outside. Like, imagine what again we're kind of predicting what may happen moving forward in the AFC playoffs because he's gonna have to face teams that have weapons on the outsides and a legit QB. So that was the surprising thing. But I gotta give fuck Josh Allen. He lost the game. I'm giving credit to Matt Stafford, bro.
Yeah,
they came to play. They ain't fucking around, bro.
No,
Hakuna Matata. That's what they call them kid in the street. They call him Hakuna Matata, bro. He ain't got no worries when he throwing the ball over there. So that's it.
I'm with you though, Nick. That toe touch catch was. He made a couple of catches like that in this game, where he was just on one, man. Puka, to have weapons like that and to have an arm like Stafford has now, and the way he can move the ball around, it's a tough team to stop. And they put it on the Bills, and it was very little defense played, especially in the second half, but still, it was hard to keep up with that group.
They had Cooper Kupp catching the pass like Randy Moss in the ends. I'm like, bro. So people, I know you seen that, like, bro. He turned the clock back on that one, like, bro. This secondary is ass when it comes down to it.
They couldn't do nothing with him.
I give Josh Allen a lot of credit for fighting back because when I looked, the game was like it was out of hand.
I was like, it was out of hand.
To claw back in that game in that way, I mean, he was close to winning it. Like, onside kick, which are very hard to get, but he was right there. And when the kicker missed the extra point and made it a 2-point game, if they scored, it was like 9 points. I was like, oh man, somehow, some way, Josh Allen going to find a way to win this game. If he would have won this game, bro, it would have been the end of it. But he played really well. He balled out, man. He did. He lost it, but it wasn't his fault necessarily. They just couldn't stop the Rams.
No, I ain't going that far. I ain't going that far, Ken, because I watched the game and I seen someone made this comment at somewhere. There was like Josh Allen gave him a 9.9 when they needed a 10. And it's the same shit that we talk
Joe
about
Burrow.
like with Joe Burrow, where it's like, bro, some days you just got to score on every drive.
Yeah.
Right. Like and that's what Joe Burrow's doing. What has to do on his shoulders. We seen Patty had to do this early on in his career. Like some days, bro, your defense ain't got it. You just got to show up. Now, again, people are going to say, well, he did show up. He had 6 touchdowns. He needed 7. He needed 8. There was some drives where he went 3 and out. And then I seen that. And it's like, all right, bro, you can't go 3 and out. We even see the Stafford. He went for it on a 4th down to close out the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just got to do what you got to do if it's for one of those games. So this is why you get paid, bro. There's no excuses. Once you get paid, there ain't no excuses. If you supposed to be top 3, show us. Win the fucking game, bro. Like now they out of getting out of the number 1 seed. They gave that right back to Kansas City, even though they got the tiebreaker over if they was tied. So now you're gonna have to go on the road to Kansas City. You ain't gonna have that shit in Buffalo.
They were 2 games down. They had the tiebreaker, but they were still down a game. Now they're down 2 games to Kansas City.
Exactly. So that's even worse.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you control your own destiny moving forward. You should win these games. And now they got to face Detroit coming up.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
They'll probably beat Detroit. They got the Patriots. Their last 3 games are cakewalks. I mean, they're division games, but it's the Patriots twice and the Jets. Like. Those should be. They should win.
On A-Rod now, you know what I'm saying?
Who?
Man, he finds ways to lose games, bro.
I know Devontae Adams is sick because you go from the Raiders to this. He got to be sick.
Yeah, but
that's what the money scored. That's what.
Okay, all right. So, are you saying he was stat padding, Nick?
I'm basically, bro. That little, bro. I knew what it was when they did that QB sneak because again, Sheldon, fantasy wise, I needed Amari Cooper to get that touchdown. when I see that QB sneak, I'm like, they don't give a fuck about this game because that's the dumbest shit you could do when you have 3. Why keep 3 timeouts if you're gonna do a QB sneak at the 1 where you know that you can't use any timeouts to extend it? You gotta throw it. Or at least move the pocket to where if he does run it in, like that's on. He got like an RPO kind of decision. Like to me, it was that pattern. Because again, once we saw it was 31-14, bro. I think mentally for Josh Allen, he's like, I'm not losing this game. But for the team, it was like we're gonna do what we do to keep it close. But it's probably out of our hands. Because that onside kick shit, especially the way they changed the rules, it ain't doing shit for nobody.
Nobody.
Well, still a hell of a game, man. 6 touchdowns, a valiant effort. They got them nothing. But, I guess when you're down that big, not a lot of quarterbacks can do that and just start putting numbers on the board like that. They made the Rams earn it. And that was a hell of a drive that they went on. It was like an 11-play drive, and then they went for it on 4th down and got that. And then Stafford hit Nakua for the go-ahead touchdown. But then they gave it right back up to make it 44-42. So, still his MVP to lose. It's going to be his. There's no way. They've been waiting on this moment. The only thing they didn't get was the win. But they got 6 touchdowns, and they're going to talk about that, and that's going to be enough. So, yeah. Man. But I don't know if they're necessarily overrated. I think Josh Allen's at that point now where he's judged by the playoffs. He got Super Bowl expectations now. It's not about coming back from, a 31-14 or whatever deficit and winning in that. You can do that in the playoffs. Like, these games are meaningless to him, just like they are to Patty. Yeah, Patty's finding ways to win games somehow, some way.
I disagree though, Kane, because it's like coming into the season, no one thought that the Bills were going to be a Super Bowl contender. based off of all the stuff that they lost and the talent that they had to go trade for Amari Cooper because they were looking that shitty. He was throwing 9 for 30. So like, and then now all of a sudden when they go on this run, it's like, oh shit, oh now they beat the Chiefs like that, just like they did last year, and then oh shit, they can win it all. They can win the AFC. They may be the best team, and it's like, no, they not.
Wait, you don't think Josh Allen has Super Bowl expectations placed on him now?
Coming into this season, we did not. Most people did not expect the Bills. Most people didn't even expect the Bills to win a division. I know I was one of them, but there was other media pundits that said, like, bro, they gonna say this the Jets or the Dolphins and stuff like that because again, the lack of talent on the roster. They were only going to. The only reason why they said Josh Allen would be in the MVP conversation if he wills this team further than what we expect, which he has. Mm-hmm. But that's why I say that I think they're overrated because it's like, bro, they're not going. I would give the Steelers a better chance to win the AFC than the Bills.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out when the playoffs get. But it is safe to say Josh Allen is on Super Bowl watch, right?
Well, he can go there. He can show them where's the this year. He can go.
Come on, he has to have those. He has to have those expectations.
Yeah,
Lamar has them. He's about to get his Super Bowl. He's about to get his MVP.
The reason why Lamar's a 2-time MVP though,
and Josh Allen about to get his first one.
He ain't getting shit, kid. When he lose to the Lions, shout out to BZ 430 because I know that's kicking him out the conversation. I'm sorry. If Lamar gets kicked out because of his losses, we should do the same thing for Josh Allen. Let's not act like just because you throwing up all this shit
I agree.
And losing efforts, we gonna give you credit for that. Who gives a fuck about that? You lost the fucking game.
No, you lost the game, but at the end of the day, he has less than Lamar does now. We can make that argument.
That's what.
Let's weapons around.
What weapons does Lamar got outside of Derrick Henry?
Hey, Zay Flowers.
No. It's a level playing field, people.
Is Zay Flowers top 10? Is he even top 10 at his position, FIFO?
No, but Mark Andrews is.
Is he? He
still is.
That's only because the tight end market is scarce.
No, it is, but I'm just saying. But he's still one of the best ones in the game. So all I'm saying is, it is Josh Allen's to lose because he's doing the most with the least right now.
Yeah, he is. Picks.
I'll say Patty's doing the most with the least, but yeah.
He's done the most, but Hopkins ain't shit.
Hopkins still ain't Hopkins. Yeah, no, it's still Patty.
Yeah, Hopkins ain't
it's still Patty.
Travis ain't shit. Pacheco ain't even top 15 in his position.
Juju, man. Patrick threw one to Hopkins. It's one that old school Hopkins would have caught that. It was right.
Got hit.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Yeah, old school Hopkins would have caught that easy.
Oh, man. I was like, oh, no. Don't tell me it's over.
I couldn't believe he dropped that. I thought the same thing, kid. I was like, that's old man creeping in on him.
Xavier Worthy might be all right though, Nick.
Xavier ain't shit. Let me say this because he's still a rookie. He ain't shit right now. The one thing I do, the truest thing the best thing that Cam Taylor-Britt did this year was say that that motherfucker he's just fast. That's all he is.
He is saying that because he caught that one pass.
I am.
He barely caught
I saw it too, kid.
So you see the pass? He barely caught it. He had to hold it. He held on his leg.
I say, did he throw that to Worthy? Who he threw that to? We all thinking the same thing. Oh man.
All right, let's get into these picks, man. It's on you, brother.
All right, we got the picks. Man, it was an interesting week for all of us, bro.
I ain't even look at it.
What is it? Damn, did I even?
We ain't got no graphic.
Not for that. I just got the picks.
Oh yeah. Throw out the pick. I forgot to put the calculation in.
Okay. All right. What game we starting with?
We are going into week 15. So we're gonna start off with the LA Rams versus San Francisco.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, come on.
49ers. I know I was gonna send mine in late, man. It was wifey birthday, bro. It was wifey birthday.
Oh, shout out to wifey, bro. Happy belated. So you said you got the 49ers FIFO?
Yeah, I got 49ers.
Who you got, Shelton?
I'm trying to find my picks of what I picked, but since I don't have them in front of me, is it in San Francisco?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Rams.
I knew he was gonna do that. He was gonna say all that shit for no fucking reason.
So I'm dolo on this one.
Why are you picking them, FIFO?
This was a coin flip. In all honesty, the Rams are playing better than what they are, and the 49ers are playing worse than what they are. But they both have flashes of who they really are. So I'm just picking the 49ers only because they're at home.
Debo said that he ain't struggling. He's just not getting the football.
Yeah, that's what he said. He tweeted that out.
And what did the
say he leads the team and drops?
He's struggling.
Man, I damn near want to change my pick just because of what Debo said. What the hell?
Come on, man.
Debo been trying to kill that noise.
I'm gonna keep it because I know I needed to catch up.
All right.
Yeah, he leads the team in target. That's crazy. That's what Tweets Over Door said, but that's funny. Anyway, what's that?
Up next, we got let's go to Green Bay versus Seattle. These are we coming down to the wire with a lot of these teams. So as far as playoff seeding and even just getting into the playoffs. So Green Bay going on the road to Seattle. Both of them need this win. Seattle's been on a 2-game win streak, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Give me Seattle. Give me Seattle.
I got Seattle as well.
Why? Okay, Sheldon, why you picking Seattle?
Because they're at home. Both these teams are in a desperate must-win situation. I like the way that Geno's leading this team, and I feel like the defense is going to step up in this Green Bay game.
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay because they got the better quarterback, better head coach, and I trust their run game a little bit more too.
Geno got more yards than Love.
Love was out for a couple games. He was hurt.
Geno still got more yards than everybody. Other than Joe.
Oh, you talking about passing yards?
Passing yards, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about I didn't say he got more passing yards. I said he's the better quarterback. That's what I'm going on.
Okay. You're right.
So I'm going with that. Up next after that, we arguably one of the games of the week, or a very interesting game. We got Pittsburgh going on the road to Philadelphia. Sheldon, I'm going with the Eagles. Well,
there you go, Nick. There you go, Nick.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
There you go, Nick. There you go, Nick.
Bird
I know what time it is.
Shout out to Saquon. That's the only reason why I picked him.
Hey, Nick, I'm on the other wing right next to you, my boy. I'm flying with you, my boy.
Sheldon, who you get? Oh, all right, now.
Absolutely.
Ken, why are you going with Pittsburgh?
I don't know, honestly. They're playing really, really well. I think this will be an interesting game. For all intents and purposes, the Eagles should win this game. And then I saw news today that Pickens has a hamstring issue.
Yes.
And that he's doubtful for the game. I didn't know that before I picked it because I definitely would have went with Philly. But I think this is a game we'll see. We'll see how that defense matches up against Philly's offense on both levels. And can Pittsburgh muster up offense against Philly's defense?
Well, this is the Jalen Hurts game because I think Pittsburgh's
should be.
Mike Tomlin's number one thing is going to be, bro, Saquon ain't doing shit tonight. So we're gonna put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand and see what he do. And
right,
I don't trust Pittsburgh secondary because if Joey Porter's your best corner, you're gonna get a lot of flags that game. So he should ball, but if he doesn't, this game could look ugly quick. So this is the Jalen Hurts game for me. Up next, we got Buffalo going on the road to Detroit, the hottest team right now in the league with the Detroit Lions. I'm going Buffalo because I was going off of the win streak they had. I thought they was going to beat the Rams and continue on. But since they lost, I should have changed my damn pick. But to me, well, here's what I would say. And I want to get your picks, FIFO and Sheldon. But I do also think the Lions have to lose another game. They're not going to keep just winning the way they've been because it's been slowing down a little bit too as far as how they win. These margins of errors are getting very, very little. And this is a huge game. This is the MVP game. Whoever wins this should be the leader of the MVP. So I think Josh Allen will come to play, especially coming off that loss. That's the reason why I'm going with the Bills. But it's also because I think the Lions just have to lose another game because they not this hot. I don't believe so.
Well, that's the difference between Jared Goff being an MVP and not being an MVP, right? Because you got the way that the rest of this team is playing. If he was individually playing at an MVP level, then there's no way that what you just said would even come out of your mouth. But that's the reason why Goff is not the MVP. But I got the Lions, man. Better team. I feel that when it comes down the stretch, I just trust where the Lions are in the process more right now. So give me the Lions.
Give me the Bills. I don't think the Bills can afford to lose 2 games in a row, and I don't think Josh Allen will allow them to lose 2 games in a row. The Lions are due. They came close a couple times, and I think this time they're due.
And FIFA, I just said he should be leading the conversation. All right, you already. I didn't say I ain't say he gonna win it all. I'm just saying he should be leading the conversation as the best, one of the best players on the team, on the best team.
I know y'all keep saying every week the Lions is the best team in football. I don't know if I fully believe that. I think they are one of the best teams in football, but that defense scares the shit out of me. And I think that's why when y'all say it, I'm like, I don't know. That defense, man. Like, I don't know. And I think we're about to put it to the test when Josh Allen comes to town, especially with that secondary. And them guys, bro, they PIs waiting to happen.
Hey, what's his name? The corner, was it named
Terrion Arnold.
Bro.
And a lot of people were mad in Philly because they wanted them to pick Terrion Arnold over Quinyon Mitchell. So that would have been a huge disaster because it ain't even the same.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's it should be a good game. I mean, battle of the juggernauts. So we'll see how it goes.
The last one was based off of Ken's recommendation last week. We got Dallas going on the road to Carolina. He said we got.
How difficult was this for you guys, though?
It was tough. Hey, that's a pretty good idea, Ken. Because it was tough. Because
I was flowing through them, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this. And then I got to this game, I was like, oh shit.
Yes.
But I got the Panthers though.
I got the Panthers too. I think Bryce is due. And I don't think that this Dallas defense can stand up to the test, especially losing Overstreet.
Cowboys are cooked.
They looked a little good against Cincy last
Shout out to both these teams, man. Overstreet and Brooks. Brooks worked his way all the way back all year, battled his butt off to get back.
I just saw it.
To tear his leg up again, man. That was really, really painful to watch and probably for him to go through. I felt bad for him, and I feel bad for Overstreet. Tearing this stuff up too. That's what Michael said he was crying about, which that was part of the reason he was crying.
Oh, okay. Because he was in like he was ball, like, bro.
He was like, that's my dog. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? You've been to war with this dude and to see him battle like that and to go down, that's not a good feeling.
This is just the injury bug for the Cowboys. Like,
I thought he was crying because they lost.
That too.
I was like, damn, bro.
That was a Cowboys ass luck because I was thinking like, damn, since he gonna lose this game,
yes,
yeah, bro. But that what's Cuz goofy ass did this?
Didn't that wasn't that a microcosm of their whole season? That was just Cowboy-esque what he did. I know Jerry Jones was sick. I thought Jerry Jones.
That's why Spike isn't here.
and then to someone, I think at halftime there was they were showing that one of the Bengals coaches said like to Jamar, like they scared to guard you, like they scared of you. And then when you see how the game ends, bro, there should be no way Jamar was too open. Jamar was too open, bro. I'm sorry. 150 plus yards and 2 tutties.
Yeah.
When you know the number one option is him.
Yeah.
He had more receptions than Chase Brown had touches.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But yeah, I'm going with the Panthers, man. You know what I like over the last couple of weeks that I saw from Bryson is that touchdown drive he had against the Bucks, and I think when he took the lead, and I saw confidence. I was like, oh, okay, so that's impressive. They went on to lose the game, but I was like, oh.
This past Eagles game was like, oh, to me, that's low key Bryce's coming out party, because it was like, bro, if Leggett doesn't drop that, bro, we're talking about a whole different game. And Bryce was poised. That was the thing that I always look at, poised. Not necessarily all the things you do, but like you're poised and how like the game, the moment doesn't seem too big for you.
Yeah, he made a couple fourth down plays too, Nick.
Yeah, he did. He did what he had to do.
Mm-hmm. Does Leggett have an issue catching the football?
He's young, man. He's young, and he does, but not really. I'll say this: he makes plays and he gets open. I think in the long run, he's going to be fine. That's going to be a great combination, them two. But right now he's just a kid, man. The moment was just too big, and he's dropped a couple of passes. But
I think he's taking himself out of being considered like a number one. I think they need to draft another wide receiver coming up, in this upcoming draft. Because that touchdown that was a gimme touchdown, bro. He made the right route and everything, and it's like, bro, how do you not catch that? No one's there to hit you or nothing.
Because we talk about that though. Receivers have the icks like that sometimes. Now, of course, we talked about that. We talked about that with Chase, but it was the beginning of the season. But still, we talked about that even with Chase at one point.
You talked about that.
No, we didn't talk about that with Chase. That was in the preseason.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it was early on, but I wasn't the only one saying it. Everybody was saying
but it didn't translate to the regular season. It did not last at all. It was a non-issue.
The first game they had against the Vikings, he caught a bomb.
Leggett has been doing this in the regular season, Shelton. There's the difference.
Leggett. He's a South Carolina guy, man. I like Leggett.
Yeah. All right, man. Let me go through these super chats real quick. Troy said, "Hey y'all, how's everybody fantasy football team doing? Keep up the dope content."
Appreciate you, Troy.
My commissioner fucked up. He started the playoffs this past week when I had some players on the bye week like Joe Mixon, Jaden Daniels, Scary Terry, bro. But my team, they did their best effort, but I lost the first round, so all I can do is get third place now. So that's what I'm fighting for. But it was a good season nonetheless.
Yeah, I had a rough season. I
forgot. All right. Kev Timothy. Nick, I'm a Celtics fan, but I think the Knicks are the only team in the East that can give us trouble.
Thank you for being honest, Kev. I said this early, when we did our the trade conversation when it first happened. I said outside of Boston, obviously y'all gonna say I'm biased, but the Knicks, the way they looking, I was like, if everything clicks right, they should be the team that's next up in the East. Because Philly ain't doing shit, Miami ain't doing shit.
So Cleveland just out there, huh?
Cleveland, what? There's a team in Cleveland. I just know Donovan Mitchell out there. I ain't know there was the whole team out there. Real talk. Cleveland cool. Cleveland's a nice story. So Cleveland is you know what I'm saying, when you one of the Make-A-Wish nice
they're
stories.
They're a good regular season team.
Good regular season team, bro. If they try to come to New York with that bullshit, bro, nah. I love Donovan Mitchell, but it ain't going. You know what I'm saying? But to me, the Knicks, bro, Cat got some. He upset. He's still upset that they traded his ass, and he's playing like it. Brun is the best point guard in the league right now. And I'm gonna say that right now. So FIFA, you can shake your head, but shit, tell me what point guard better than him right now. Brun can do it all. You know what I'm saying?
Morant.
Oh, okay. John Morant don't even want to dunk.
Nick, as soon as he dunked, he was out the next game. It was a nasty dunk, but
I fuck with John Morant, but he ain't there. He's still getting back right. You know what I'm saying? But Brun is this Knicks squad is dangerous.
Hey man, Nick, I feel you, man. I just can't trust Cat, man. If Cat's on the team,
that's the thing. You don't need to worry about Cat. Brun gonna take care of everything. We got Mikal Bridges. We got OG balling too. Like, bro, you don't know how to guard this team.
You got a good squad.
Great squad. Great squad. Great team.
We the boys say AJ gonna swing on Jalen. I just hope they got the cameras rolling.
Who's you picking that fight? FIFA, who's you picking
AJ.
that fight? AJ Brown or Jalen?
Nah, Jalen Hurts, bro.
Jalen Hurts can squat like 500 pounds though.
Jalen Hurts strong as hell. Don't be
I
fooled.
know.
I'm taking AJ.
Jalen Hurts 30. You know what I'm saying? He can
I'm not saying he's not.
Jalen Hurts.
Just taking
Jalen Hurts
AJ.
can squabble, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
All right.
Man, where Jalen Hurts from?
Texas.
Texas? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown from Starkville, Mississippi. He's had to deal with racism. And
AJ
so
Brown
is
did.
Jalen Brown too. So it might be they country strong. That might be a good fight. Yeah, that one might be all right. We them boys, Caleb Williams and the Bears look broken.
Yeah. The biggest offseason transaction that's going to happen is who the Bears pick as their head coach.
Yep.
That may be the most important thing. And Ben Johnson came out early talking about, so if y'all niggas don't got the check right, hey, if y'all not listening to me, I ain't going. So Ben Johnson got the golden ticket right now. And if
he should go though.
Yeah, I think the Bears are the best gig in the league, even considering some other teams that may let go of their head coach. Because how many other teams have a legit prospect? I'm not going to say, he is the second coming, but he is a legit prospect at quarterback with that offensive talent around them, with the defense that is, should be top 10, just based off of personnel. That's a walk in, and there's expectations, but realistically, we just need to see progress.
and they got to coach out. They got to coach the. I'm really focused on the coaching, obviously, because I always talk about it. But like with Caleb, that 49ers game, bro, he was holding on the ball too. Like he was taking unnecessary sacks.
He does that.
They got to coach that out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's just locked in and know where he's going, bro, he's nice. But when he's and it's the 49ers defense, so he probably was seeing shit. It was like, I don't know what this is, but he got it. You're right, they got to get that out of him. But prior to this game, he was looking all right. But yeah, it was a step back for sure. Marvin Harris needs to cuss out Kyler Short.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for Marvin Harrison, bro. He should be balling this year. He should have been having like even a better season like Malik Neighbors and stuff like that as far as from his position. But
Neighbors looking nice.
Yeah,
he's made some pretty good plays.
Neighbors got motherfucking trash. They got a whole Butcher Baker candlestick maker at quarterback in their rotation. Like they ain't got nobody. They even got a fucking sign that's going over like who's watching this dumpster fire. Like the Giants. Being a Giants fan is hard right now,
especially after y'all missed that kick. Is that what prompted you? They got blocked. My bad.
Don't even get me started.
Okay.
The kicks this past weekend were egregious. Even that Phillies game, Shelton, was egregious. Ever since they said that motherfucker from Carolina was the best kicker in the world, he been missing everything.
FIFO, since you watch basketball, Embiid's knees are cooked.
1,000,000%, bro.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's a wrap, bro.
The knees are bad, bro. It's caught up to him.
It's a wrap. It's him, Paul George, all them, bro.
I knew Paul George was gonna do shit, but
but get rid of all it. In all honesty, man, it's a dumpster fire over there in Philly, in my opinion.
Really, you think so?
Yeah. Keep the point guard and keep Tyrese Maxey, and let the rest of them scrubs go. All of them.
They just re-signed Joel like 3 months ago.
And he can go. Let him go. Let him fly. Wherever he want to go. Let him fly.
My first class ticket.
Bro, like it's bad. It's bad. And here's the thing. I'll take a physically broken athlete. I won't take a mentally broken athlete, bro. And it's beyond the knees that is cooked, bro. It's Joel Embiid's mentality. He needs to get around a championship environment. He doesn't know what it's like. The closest thing I think was the Olympics, but he don't know what that's like, bro. And he can't cultivate that because it's not like Giannis knew what the hell that was like. Giannis had to cultivate that in Milwaukee over all those years. You know what I'm saying? And Joel's just not that guy. He got to go.
He'll be all right, man. Drew, forgot to pop up last live and remind y'all that Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated quarterback of all time. Let's all hope and pray he retires next year. Nah, he's going somewhere else.
He's not the most overrated.
He said he want to come back there
to the Jets.
Yeah.
I respect it if he does.
He could come back there. And they're not going.
They need to drop the quarterback though.
Yeah, they have to. They will. He can't bitch about that. But
nope,
he's not the most overrated quarterback. That's Jimmy G.
I'm the cat. Last one. Convinced the Chiefs use devil magic before games, bro. I don't know. Like this is crazy. I wanted
oh man, and it was a backup kicker too. I wanted the Chargers had the game in hand, bro. It was that fucked up. What happened? It was the they settled for a field goal when they missed that third down throw. The dude who was coming right across, it was wide open. That was Harbaugh's game to win, and it was right there. They did great in the second half, but they gave Patty bro. He ate up 4.5 minutes, bro.
Yeah, that's. I thought it was. I said they gonna get the ball. I didn't know he was gonna get the ball.
I was thinking that too. I was like, he can't eat up 4.5 minutes.
No, that's all I'm thinking.
If it was 3 or 2.5, I'm like, okay, this is a wrap. I still felt like they should get, bro. He ate up 4.5 minutes.
That pass he threw.
He just threw to Xavier Worthy, punk ass.
Well, not that one. There was another one. He scrambled around. He kind of threw a little lob pass.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot who was going to.
He threw one to Travis Kelce, who was just literally just sitting there, like he didn't, like he was on the ground. He wasn't standing or nothing. He was on the ground. He just caught it. You just got to give it up to it. Someone said it seems like it's destiny for the Chiefs to win their third one, bro.
Man,
it may be. It'll be hilarious if they get knocked out first round.
You don't convince me.
But would it surprise you
if they got knocked out first round? Yes, I'll be surprised.
Well, they won't be out first round anyway because they'll have a bye.
Well, I mean, like their first game.
Oh, their first game. Gotcha. Yeah. Shelton, you got against the spread this week?
No, I don't today.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, well, we 4 weeks away from the playoffs, and next week will be we at the end of the show. I don't know if you guys still listening this far in, but our I think it'll be the last one, and then next week we'll give you guys our holiday schedule because of the way the Christmas and New Year's fall. So, but yeah, man, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll catch you guys next time. We are out. Peace.
Peace.